What up? What up? Baby. That you know I love that. You already know. That is me. That is me. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. I love it. I love it, man. What is up, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello, hello. We got a good night ahead for you guys. I figure we start a couple minutes early. Make this a little bit lower here. And, yeah, we're just going to wait for Russ to come in, or Brandon to come in. Brandon Russ is going to be here tonight. And it should be a good night, y'all. Should be a really good night. We got Bakashi Earthworks going to start it out. We have Tino. So from 8 to 9 o'clock, we should have Brandon Russ in here from Bakashi Earthworks. From 9 to 10 o'clock, what up, Trees? How you been? From 9 to 10 o'clock, we have Tino. Tino has a new drop. We're going to get into what Tino has going on, you know, and we're going to keep it just on the plant. Like, you know, I think you guys will be, for you guys that don't really know Tino, I think you guys will be very impressed. And, you know, he puts out a lot of good work, man. So we're going to have Tino come on. We also have a new drop coming up from him real soon. And then, you know, to close the night out, it's going to be a good one, y'all. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, because I won't be here tomorrow, so might as well get that out of the way right away. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Much love. And yeah, Brandon Russ, that's going to be a good one. I'm going to send him an invite here in a minute. I told him we'd be on this page. It's about 8 o'clock right now. And then we have aficionados. So we have Leo Stone. We have Leo coming on from 10 to 11 o'clock. That's how the night's going to go. We're going to try to keep it, you know, we're going to give everybody an hour tonight. I think that's the best way to do it. What up, Hank? What up, brother? Let's go. So if you guys have questions, man, get your questions ready, you know, for any of these guys, because we're going to run it pretty much like the first half hour. You know, we'll talk about his company for everybody. We'll talk about their company and, you know, background, who they are, what they got going on. Basically, the second half hour, I'm going to let you guys ask questions. So you guys could throw in the questions through the question box. I'm not sure if the question box is working or not. So if you guys want to throw a question into the question box now, we can see if it's working. Otherwise, I'm going to have to pull up another phone. And I will do that. I will do that so I can see your guys' questions, you know. So let me join in. You see the question box? All right, put a question in there. Like, send the question in so I can see if I can see it or not. Because for some reason, oh, there it is. All right, we're good. All right, perfect. So that's how we're going to do it. You know, I will put it up there and pin it, or Mrs. Darkstar will type it out. We'll pin it. And this is how you guys are going to ask your questions. They're going to all come in through the question box because the comments go very fast. And like I said, if you guys throw a question in and I don't read it right away, just know the second half hour, you know, all those questions that you guys have piled up, we will get to them for the second half hour. You know, maybe we'll get to them a little bit earlier than the second half hour, but I think the second half hour is, you know, the best time to ask these questions. Oh. Hold on. All right, so he actually just sent me a message. I think, yeah, I'm not sure. He should be coming over here right now. Oh, there he is, right there. All right, let me send. Here we go. All right, so like I said, we're gonna have 1 hour with Russ, with Brandon. He's coming in right now. Let me make sure it let him in. No, it didn't let him in. Are you in here? Oh, you're in here. Let's
Yeah,
go. What's up,
it's
brother?
weird. I can't see you.
Oh, you can't see me. You want to pop back out and try to come back in?
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, Instagram's been a little tweaky.
All right, let me
So
check.
let's see. Trying to send you an invite. It's not coming up for some reason. There we go.
There it is. I see your logo now. There
All
you
right,
are.
they told me to throw the logo up. They said throw the logo up, and when you come in, turn it off. So apparently it worked. So
Okay.
cool. All right, let me make that a little
Let me
lower.
scoot this back a little bit.
All right. Yeah. First off, thank you for coming, man. I definitely appreciate you joining in tonight. We do this on Wednesdays. We do a Meet the Breeder. In your case, we'll call it Meet the Breeder, and we'll talk about Bakashi Earthworks a little bit. I usually try to do like the first half hour where you talk about your company, who you are, for anybody that doesn't know who you are. And I try to let them through the question box, maybe the second half hour. It'll go by pretty fast. The hours do fly by. Let them ask any questions they may have.
Sure.
So
Let's
why don't
do
you
it.
take it away? Yeah, let's go. Let's get it.
Yeah. For any
All right, I think he's Are you? Yeah, I think he's frozen. Let me see. I might have to have you come back in. Yeah, I'm seeing you as frozen on my screen. Let's see. There we go. All right, let me see. I might have to. Oh, there we go. Are we good? We're back?
yeah.
Okay, let's go.
IG's being funky. Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know who I am, my name is Brandon. Um, I've been growing cannabis for a little over 22 years now. I own Bokashi Earthworks. We specialize in manufacturing soil. We manufacture microbial consortium for agriculture. And then I also work with NASA Agricultural Technologies, and we sell uh, carbon-based fertilizer, humate fertilizer, which is a carbon chelated fulvic acid fertilizer. And yeah, I've been breeding stuff on my own, just for my own pleasure, you could say, since around 2004. And then uh, the demand for people wanting, my work got to a point in around 2019 where I decided to release some of the stuff that I that I've been working on for a really long time. And uh, yeah, I do a lot, man. I do a lot of agronomy. I do a lot of consulting. I own a consulting company as well, so I consult with farms all over the country, doing soil recommendations, building SOPs for things like integrated pest management, even helping design build out on occasion. But yeah, I'm kind of all over the place, all over everywhere. I'm in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. That's a good thing, bro. Little of everything. Um, so I saw you have I saw you have a new product that's coming out. I did see that. The the pots. I think you guys just started to release them, if I'm not mistaken, and got approval from the agriculture. You know
Yeah.
the
So we have a product that was developed using the humate fertilizer, the pure fulvic acid carbon chelated fertilizer, and it's called the NutriGrow pot. And the NutriGrow pot, the base is a compost manure, and it's coated in the humate fertilizer. So what happens is the humate fertilizer one is both a fertilizer but also a biostimulant. And so the both of those things combined equal greater efficiency, and it has a greater net benefit in soils. And the NutriGrow pot was designed to be a replacement for single-use plastics and for starter fertilizers across all of agriculture and horticulture. And you can see time and time again when you go to a nursery, whether it's Home Depot or a local nursery, you'll go and buy a pepper plant or tomato plant. It'll come in a little single-use plastic cup, and you have to flip that thing over, disturb the roots, transplant it, and then you got to feed it. With the technology that we've developed, you can transplant clones or sprout seeds in this cup, and then you can just transplant it directly into the ground. It will decompose. It'll release a complete fertilizer. It's a 9-10-9 formulation, so 9% nitrogen, 10% phosphorus, 9% potassium. It also contains about 2% calcium, contains magnesium, sulfur, and all the micronutrients as well. In addition to that, it has a large amount of fulvic acid and humic acid. So it's a product that actually on Monday I pick up my box prototypes for my box, and then I'm flying out to Vegas for the BizCon, and then after BizCon, 2 days after that, I drive to Chicago, and I'll be out in Chicago for about a week. We're going to finalize all of the business arrangements and all the itemized numbers, because we're going to be building a factory down here in Oklahoma to manufacture the pure humic fulvic acid, the fertilizer, and then also we can do something with fluidized humic acid where we can extract nitrogen out of the air to make nitrogen fertilizers. So instead of doing it with the Haber-Bosch process, we can actually put the fluidized humic acid under immense pressure and then push atmospheric nitrogen through it, and it'll chelate that nitrogen and will convert it into a carbon-based form with the technology that Dr. George developed. So we hope to do that, and then also get all of our pulp molding machines that can do all of the different sizes for the cups, for the fertilizer cup. And so we'll be able to in-house the production of everything ourselves out here in Oklahoma. So, and then after Chicago, we'll be out in New York doing some classes, and there's a cannabis competition out there as well.
Okay, a good reason to go out there. So so they come in just right now. Or are they going to be made in the bigger sizes as well, or? Okay.
Yeah. So right now, I'm doing everything manually for the production. I wanted to create a product. I wanted to, get all the packaging design done. I wanted to have a tangible thing that works, that functions the way, so I've done all the testing. It's been a long time in the making, the whole thing, right? And so it's now come to a point where, as far as the company goes, we've done, this was a hobby, but Bokashi Earthworks was a hobby, right? Because I come from the cultivation world. I trapped for 18 years before I moved out to Oklahoma. I mean, I did 2 prison terms between cultivation, sales, theft of electricity, and manufacturing. I've done, over 4.5 years in prison.
2 here,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know you like the Dead too. So I mean, did you travel with the Dead at all? Just out of curiosity.
No, I was too young to really get into it. All my older homies, all the OGs that showed me what's up, kind of really introduced me into it and stuff. So I got to see like Dead and Company and stuff like that. But I'm only 40, bro. And Jerry died in '96 when I was a little kid.
Yeah, 95. Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I was like
Yeah.
what 13 and stuff, and I was raised in foster care and stuff like that. So
Right.
it was just it was a different scenario. So I didn't get to find out about that until I started smoking weed when I was a teenager and shit. I was real familiar with the Grateful Dead because we were doing fucking mushrooms and doing acid and shit like that. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that was scary.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but yeah, it was cool because it was really just a hobby. I was growing 2015. The prices of weed started dropping once all these little fucking medi shops popped up. They were like kind of trap like spots, but they were like semi legal 215 days in California. And but I remember it was like 2014, 2015. I was growing Gorilla Glue for like a year solid, fucking just whooping mad packs, dude, and like this easy, right? Easy
Yeah.
money. And I've
Yeah.
been doing that for a long time, and all of a sudden, dude, prices started to drop and started showing up. And the same fucking weed that I was growing was fucking starting to show up everywhere. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, how the fuck did these people even get this shit? You know what I mean? And so but then started seeing the market drop out, and at that time I was running. I had done hydroponics for 11 years, and I had switched to soil with fertigation salts. I was running house and garden, and then right around that time I was like, dude, I got to figure out how to fucking decrease my costs. And the biggest input that cost me was what I was using, and I had like 11 different fucking things from house and garden. And
Mhm.
I was like, this, I got to figure this out. And so I knew at that point I had already been growing for, God, like 13 years or, something like that, 14 years. And I had to I switched over to organic. I was like, okay, I started reading the labels, what's in this shit. And it's like, I remember I had one product, I was paying like $60 for a fucking liter of it, right? And I read it and it said derived from langbonite. And so I looked up what langbonite is, also known as K-Mag or Sulpomag. It's a potassium, sulfur, magnesium amendment, right? And it's dirt fucking cheap. Like you can buy a bag of it for like $30. And
Right.
there so literally took like a quart bottle. They put like a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons, so maybe like 2-3 cents worth of fertilizer and water, and that's what I was fucking buying. And when I realized that, I was like, holy fuck. I was like, I can't fucking believe this. Because that was the first one that I recall what I was like, what the fuck? Because I remember even the langbonite from fucking Down to Earth, a 50-pound bag was still
Right.
like $55. And that was at the fucking hydro shop. And so when you start looking at the price of these in actual cost comparison to what's in those bottles and shit, I was fucking blown away. And I was like, so I started looking at everything. I started researching about, what's what and what's this. And then, I switched everything to organic. And the first run, great fucking weed, but I didn't do it right. It was like, you know what I mean? I didn't have the greatest success, but I had to relearn everything really. And it wasn't until I could grow great fucking weed for I have for a really long time. Um, when I got into the commercial space out here in Oklahoma, it wasn't necessarily just growing good weed, but maintaining a system consistently and figuring a way out to know how to monitor that system through data, so that
Yeah.
way you don't run into any issues where you're trying to guess, because especially when there's people that are like highly invested into
Yeah.
like being successful,
Yeah.
so you have to be able to. So I really learned the agronomy, and I was, really getting into that side of it and looking at soil numbers and soil data. And then, that's what I've been doing. And I do that for a lot of different farms now. So I look at data and I analyze it, and I can determine what needs to be added in what quantity to bring that soil back into sufficiency and make sure all those mineral ions are balanced. And we do that through standard soil testing and saturated paste. So standard soil gives you an overall profile of what's in the soil, and saturated paste will actually tell you each individual nutrient ion in its available form in its ppm. So I can see the ppm of. So let's say I have like 1,000 ppm of total soluble salts on my solution. I can see how much of that is phosphorus, calcium, magnesium, iron, all my nitrogen, all of that stuff.
Okay.
So it gives me a really, really good overall idea of, how that system is going to perform and how I should treat that system for fertigation, for fertilization. Okay, what should be added to this depending on what's already there? What's the EC look like? What's the hydrogen exchange look like? All of these things are factors that I can see the data and determine, tell like the person that I'm working with, hey, this is how this functions. This is what's going on your system. And based off of what I'm seeing, this is what you need to add. And then after you top dress, this is the way that you should approach the cultivation for this cycle. And so that's, I work with farms, and like a good example is like we'll start off oftentimes with a little bit more inputs, a little bit more top dress the first couple of runs, a little bit more humate. But as those soils develop and we're recycling biomass back into that system, we start using less and less. And then we're just doing monitoring and balancing.
Okay. And in the beginning, so that's how Bakashi started. Like that's where it came from. That's so, and your company is pure, fully organic at this point, right? Or always has been.
Yeah. So the way it started was when I switched over to the organic stuff. I had to learn a bunch of stuff, and I joined a group called Probiotic Farmers Alliance. And there's this guy, Alan Atkinson, on there who was doing a product called Grow Kashi, which was an inoculated wheat brand that had a consortium, also known as Effective Microorganisms. It's also what is in the Microbe Plus, but it's a consortium of bacillus bacteria, a photosynthetic bacteria, and a fermentive yeast. And I was using that product, and I learned how to make it essentially, and I was like, you know what, it's much more cost effective to make this input myself. It is really simple. And then not only that, instead of just inoculating like wheat bran, I can also add other amendments to the fermentation process. So instead of just like having wheat bran in there, I can add alfalfa meal, kelp meal, or I could add in. I actually don't use kelp meal, but
Okay.
but like bone meal, blood
Right.
meal, add in rock mineral phosphates and different minerals as well. And what's going to happen is during that fermentation process, all of those organic acids and enzymes that are being produced are going to essentially, like the protease that's produced, it breaks down proteins, and so it'll break down cellular structures, releasing the mineral ions. A lot of them will also be attached to organic humic substances, and so it acts as a a biofertilizer. It's
Okay.
chock full of microbes. It works for passive transport of the mineral ions when they're bonded to any type of like sidiaphore, which is carbon chelated. So it's a sidiaphores are carbon substances that like chelate, grab onto mineral ions, nutrient ions, and keep them in a bioavailable form for the plant. And so that in that process, during the fermentation process, they produce sidiaphores that have the capacity to do that. And so you can get chelated nutrient ions in that media as well. But it's a cool process, right? And it's something that can be used as a biofertilizer, but it's really labor intensive to manufacture. So I've actually moved away from it for the time being. But what we did do is we applied for an agricultural business grant through the USDA because they were giving out $400 million to small businesses for the domestic production and distribution of organic fertilizers and fertilizer alternatives, because they're trying to decrease the usage of fertilizers, dependency on fertilizers from other countries.
Good.
And yeah, it's a good thing, a good program, and they allocated another $400 million. I hired a grant writing program, and we were able to do trials where we were able to scale out the large production of biofertilizer, doing solid state fermentation. So we took a bunch of biomass, hemp biomass, coffee and tea biomass. We got together, and then we did a solid state fermentation. We did testing on the before and after, and looked at the nutrient concentrations and the availability of nutrient. And so we saw a much higher solubility of nutrition after, which was obvious. We would obviously
Right.
see, if the fermentation process went correctly. And so we built built out a whole entire business model based off of not we would get the $3 million for the business grant. And unfortunately, the company at that point hadn't been in business for a whole 3 years. It was like 2 years and 8 months at that point.
Yeah.
So we were denied on the grant side. But my attorney said it's okay because if you just reapply, and that's what they got back to me and said, so if you reapply, you're most likely going to be able to get funded simply because of the fact that you'll have the financial statements, and they allocated another $400 million. So that's something that we're working on, but we have these other business plans that we're working on too for the factory out here.
Well,
but yeah, it's
good luck, man.
Bokashi Earthworks started essentially out of like the same mentality that was like why I started selling weed when I was younger. It was like I couldn't afford, or I didn't want to have to spend a bunch of money. And so it's like, okay, buy in bulk. I can smoke what I want. And as long as I allocate this, and this to, the homies that want to fucking buy weed, then I can stay stocked up and smoking.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. So that's what's up, man. Like, yeah. I mean, I've been watching. I've been seeing what you guys do. Like, I definitely want to try your line. Like, I've been growing a long time too, and I think that anybody that's in here that doesn't know him, man, definitely check it out. And yeah, bro, like I really respect what you do, and like it's always fun. I see you go live. I'll jump in and listen to you a little bit. That's really why I wanted you to come on, because we need to bring everybody together a little bit too, like the community. And I have a whole bunch of different people that might not know who you are. So you were the one person I really did want to have come on. So yeah, man. Yeah.
What's cool about the Humate fertilizer too? So I know that I am oftentimes associated, because I do grow in organic soil and I do like these, living soil systems, and that's kind of like my forte. But the Humate fertilizer is an advanced technology that allows for cultivation in really any media. So you can use it in cocoa, and the cool thing is you can also use it in conjunction with other fertilizers. So if you're running a base salt line that you really like, you can use it with that line. However, if you do that, you have to decrease the amount of fertilizer that you're using by like 60% at least, and you can only do about 25% of the recommended dosage rate for the Humate. Because what happens is that Humate allows for better use efficiency of the other fertilizer products, and the way that it does that is that additional 44% of pure fulvic acid that is in that bottle, it will actually help chelate and grab on to those ions. So when those ions are liberated in solution from the salts, they can be grabbed on by the fulvic acid, right? And then not only does it help with it helps with energy conservation, because instead of plants will have to use active transport mechanisms where nutrients have to pass along a nutrient gradient, right? Where there's more on this side, and so it takes energy for them to move it along that gradient, and they have to use it in the form of ATP. And what happens is when your molecules and your nutrients are chelated to fulvic acid, they allow for passive transport across those root barriers, so it doesn't require any energy. Not only that, but the fulvic acid, it decreases precipitation reactions. And so if we're thinking about like nutrients and why, especially in hydroponics, you always see people pHing like at around 5.8 to 6.0. And there's a reason why. And it's because precipitation reactions occur at higher pHs with magnesium, calcium, and phosphorus. And so the base of most of the fertilizers that you see, whether you're running Florafex or Athena or Jax or Peter.
I run Canna, for instance.
Yeah, so if you look at Canna, it's probably diammonium or monoammonium phosphate as the base, probably potassium phosphate, EDTA chelated nutrients, and then there might be like a core or something like that, or another base where it's like calcium nitrate and magnesium sulfate, right? And you'll have your calcium and magnesium usually separate from the main part, and it's because when you mix those things together, what happens is the phosphate has a negative charge, and the calcium has a positive charge, and so does the magnesium, and so they'll bond together and they'll precipitate out of solution, becoming unavailable. Both of the things become unavailable. And that's also why you see in like tank settings, in larger facilities why they have different tanks for different things. Because once you start adding those things into solution together, they start reacting. It's just the nature of those ions, because some of them will have a positive and some of them have a negative charge, and they're going to bond together. And depending on if it's a monovalent, a divalent, or a trivalent cation, they'll do different things in the solution, and they'll create different types of reactions. And because of those reactions, that's why those salts are so inefficient and have to be applied so frequently. They have a low nutrient use efficiency. Now, when you add something like the fulvic acid fertilizer, what happens is you increase the use efficiency because you decrease those reactions from happening.
Okay. Yeah.
That goes with all, like, that's like all, like, real fulvic acid products, not that derived from leonardonite, not that, like, because the most products on the market aren't extracts. You have to have extracted the pure humic and fulvic acid fractions, and then you have to it's not just crushed up, organic mineral that says, oh, we have humic and fulvic acid in this. That might, but it's a completely unavailable, and it doesn't function chemically like the real pure form, the carboxylic acid groups that are extracted from the organic mineralized material.
Yeah, I haven't grown organic in a very long time, and the area that I'm in is a small area right now, but we're about to move into a large area. So I want to go to organics. I'm definitely wanting to, run your line, and I'm definitely going to. So yeah, I'm gonna go, go away from salts. I don't have an issue with salts, but the taste, like you obviously, it's
Yeah.
you get a better end product with with the
I
organic.
mean,
So
as both an organic cultivator, but also as somebody who understands fertilizer production and manufacturing, the people have a misconception of why they even don't like salts, right? Oh, you're killing the microbes, you're doing this. So there's a couple of reasons that people should really be looking at it, and it's the cost of production in energy. So if you were to take like urea, for instance, 1 ton of urea, it takes 35 million BTUs just in the manufacturing. Okay, that's not including getting the raw material and then transporting the raw material and then taking the final product and then transporting that.
right,
Okay, so we're just talking the production, 35 million BTUs. Okay, think about how much that is. Usually people are running, AC units in their house that are like, 5,200
right,
BTUs, you
yeah.
know, or a heater that might be 1,000 BTUs, So when we're talking about the amount of energy 35 million BTUs is, it's enormous.
That is, yeah, that is
And,
insane.
and then not on top of that, when we're talking about something like urea, okay, you're gonna have 50% degradation within just the first probably 10 days of application, because it goes through the nitrification and through the nitrogen cycle, and then only about 2% of what's left is actually going to be come in contact with the root surface area and be diffused, or it's going to transfer via water into that. And so it's very, very, very inefficient when you're looking at it from a holistic perspective. And that is the reason why when you're able to increase the use efficiency, it just makes more sense overall. And that's what we've done with the products. Is like we've created products that deliver ions in a passive way, where it doesn't require the plant to use energy, where it also stimulates the microbiome of the system that it's operating in, and it has a better use efficiency because there's no chemical reactions between the elements and what's happening, what's already in the soil.
All right. Believe it or not, we're already a half hour in. So, um, you want to get this? We have like probably like 10 questions here. let's get to
Yeah,
some of
yeah.
these questions now.
Let's start with questions because those usually take a little bit
Yep.
anyway, and we can maybe expound on some of the details that.
Okay, we have this is from Roots 6.4 Gardens, and it's is phosphate important for cannabis and flower? Big Ag seems to think not, and our old nutrient schedules say different.
Yeah, so phosphates are really, really interesting in the way that they are so highly reactive. So the form of phosphorus that's available to the plant, H2PO5, is the phosphate anion, and it is a very, very extremely highly reactive molecule. So it binds with calcium and magnesium in higher pHs, and it binds with aluminum and iron very well in lower pHs. Now, there are some ways that so phosphorus is highly microbially mediated. It's biologically weathered, and so microbes produce phosphatase that are enzymes that solubilize and liberate the phosphate anion from the parent apatite material. Let's say you have like a calcium phosphate mineral in your soil. It releases enzymes that liberates that phosphorus. And when this is happening in the rhizosphere, that liberated phosphate ion has enough time to diffuse into the plant root cell. Now, you don't need a lot of phosphorus. You can run on bare minimums of phosphorus. The only problem is if that process stops happening, it's like running out of gas. And then you're going to have to go push your car to a gas station, go refill before you could start it up. Because phosphorus is responsible for adenosine triphosphate, which is the energy exchange currency for all of the metabolic processes and all the cellular mechanics within that system. So without that energy, the plant doesn't function. It doesn't matter how much other nutrients are available. Now, phosphorus is tricky too because it's liberated and cycled constantly with free living soil microbes, and it goes through those cycles constantly in soil, either through biological or chemical or environmental weathering, right? And so uh, the the uh, the other way that it can be made available is when it binds and creates these bonds, these organic ligand bonds with iron and aluminum to organic matrices that can keep them soluble in a form where they're able to be passively transported.
Oh, yeah. So this is from the same person, and he says, please ask you what you yield per. I don't know if you can see when I pin it down there, but I'll read it anyway so everybody gets, hear it. Please ask him what he yields per square foot with his organic systems, pretty please.
Yeah, so different people depending on what cultivars they're running, what lights they're running, it's all over the place, you know. But typically you're not going to see anything less than 2.5 pounds per square meter.
This is
Typically
from
it's
my
more
girl, actually.
though. I mean, look, AGT Acres runs a full organic system. He hit 5 pounds uh, uh, per light on one of the cultivars that he runs. Now, normally he's not doing 5 pounds of light. Normally he's doing 3.5. You know, but you can hit great numbers regularly. You just need to know how to properly maintain sufficient nutritional levels within that system. And that's where a lot of people fall short. And it's because a lot of organic growers, they're not testing. They're just kind of throwing stuff on there. Oh, I'm going to add a little top dress. I'm going to add a little bit of this. For me, I can do really controlled, data-driven inputs.
So, like somebody that's using your product, for example, this isn't a question, this is just for me. That's having like a deficiency or something. Can they send you, can you, do you do testing for your customers at all? Or is that something that, just out of curiosity?
So what I typically do is someone reaches out and they're like, hey, I want to see what my nutritional levels, I want to get soil recommendations for my beds. And so I have them go get send their samples into Logan Labs.
Okay.
They get a standard soil saturated paste test, and then we'll look at it. We'll say, hey, this is what I recommend you guys do. You know, if usually they're coming to me because they have an issue. And
Right.
so what my job is to show them, hey, this is what's going on. Because I can look at something and be like, hey, this is what I think is going on, and I can pretty much I'm usually right. But
Yeah.
when they have a piece of data, I could say, see, this is the data. Here's what's happening. You see this number right here. See this potassium deficiency. This is what this looks like on the leaves here, and this is what it's showing on your soil. It's because you only have 20 ppm of potassium in your soil, and you should be at 125.
Gotcha.
It's like so I can show them on the test and say, hey, so this is what your number is. This is what the number should be.
Okay.
And so then they can visually see it and then correlate what that number looks like to what it should be. And typically what I'll do though is we get a target and we get that target set out, and then we build a fertigation program based off of what their data is. Because if they have like really low EC for some reason in their soil, which isn't typically the case in these modified growing mixes, but let's say that is the case, I would recommend them to do more frequent fertigations with less fertilizer, but more frequently. Like you're doing little spoon feeds, right? Because you have a lower EC system where it's not going to hold that nutrient. Now, if you had a higher EC system, you could kind of just load everything up and almost kind of just do water, a little bit of maintenance, feedings here and there at certain times, and be good. But it's really based off of the data. When it comes to net overall benefit, if you're using something like humate and the microbes, even if you go grab a bag of soil from Home Depot, dude, you're going to have decent results, because again, we're talking about a fertilizer that contains all the things that needs to be there.
Okay. Do you? This is from my girl actually. Do you have any book recommendations for beginner organics?
Let's see. So, man, that's a really good question. I would start with a book called Microbiology and Biochemistry. I will have to give you guys a link for it later.
Okay.
I have a couple books. All my books are in the office right now, or I would just go get them. And I have kind of a list of what I would recommend. And the reason why, and these books aren't something that you would typically see like they're not cannabis books. They're not like, uh, they're like, they're textbooks. They're science textbooks, so, um, but understanding microbiology is a great place to start, and then also understanding agronomy. Agronomy and microbiology are really the key factors, because there are a bunch of nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, even carbon as a soil nutrient, maybe not for plants, but for as energy for microbes, and then things like iron and sulfate are all highly mediated by microbial processes. And so if you understand the intricacies and the way that those play together, nitrogen cycle, phosphorus cycle, carbon cycle, iron cycling, and iron availability, and the chemical reactions that happen with all of these different elements, both from a chemical and a biological standpoint, you can really create a complete picture of how to properly reduce fertilizer inputs, maximize it through the use of biology. But here's the thing: you still have to make sure that there's stuff there, right?
Right.
Like, if there's no iron there, no amount of biology that you're going to put there is going to magically make iron be there.
Right.
Because iron is so highly unavailable because it oxidizes, there are different things that you could do to keep it available. So it's like understanding that, but understanding the nutrient dynamics is really important too. So any books on basic beginner agronomy, which is going to give you things about soil structure, soil pH. It's going to give you information on water hydrology. It's going to give you information on nutrient dynamics. That's really where you want to start, and then read about microbiology as well, so you kind of mesh the two together.
All right. You're in here, babe. You heard it. So this is actually from the same guy from before. He says, "How's the Oklahoma market doing?" So I'll read off. I'm going to read the questions, whatever they are.
It's a shit show everywhere. everywhere. I mean, it's just like kind of everywhere. You know, the legislative body out here are all ignorant and it's all pay to play. So if you're the fucking group that's fucking paying to have the legislative body change the laws that are going to be in your favor, then that's how it goes. But you know, it really sucks because a lot of good, hardworking people are really struggling to make ends meet. The fucking profit margins razor thin on cannabis as it is because of overtaxation and regulation, and the market keeps developing in a downward uh, trend as far as the legislation goes. So it gets harder and harder because more people have to maintain, uh, higher fees and taxes, and it stresses businesses. But as far as like the development of the actual growers out here, it's highly developed in the last few years. Since I came out here, there is a bunch of excellent, excellent cultivators that grow top tier quality. There's people that can grow outdoor. There's people that grow great greenhouse, indoor. I mean, but then again, there's also people that grow fucking boof too. You know,
Yeah.
for just as many people that grow great indoor, there's two or three that are growing, you know, weed that's subpar, that isn't as great. You know, but the whole thing is though I don't look at it like, you know, it's like a negative thing either, because there's always cost conscious consumers that maybe aren't really into like the next big thing or who's doing what. They just want something that's going to be effective and it's not going to break the bank. You know what I mean? So I'm not hating on anybody. I'm just stating facts.
Yeah. This is from Choco. Can you talk about your Micro Plus and how to make it at home?
Yeah. So if you're gonna try to make Microbe Plus at home from like raw ingredients, it would take a very long time. It would actually take months. If you were gonna make it from mother culture spores, like I use, which are the sporulated cultures, it doesn't take that long. Uh, so long version would be you would have to one collect maybe some pond water, right? And then you'd use MSG, monosodium glutamate.
Mm.
You'd also use some uh, oyster sauce or fish sauce. And then you would also use a couple of tablespoons of molasses in like a gallon jug. And then you would leave that in the sun for a few months until the fluid actually turned purple.
There
It
you
turns
go,
it
bro.
turns like it turns like a dark purplish type of color, but that's a
Yeah.
pseudomonas. That's a photosynthetic bacteria that's essentially consumes all of those different food sources and proliferates. So that's one part. That's one part of the microbes. The others would you have to make a lactic acid bacteria serum, doing like labs with a rice wash and all that. And then you would also have to find like yeast that would native to your area. So if you could put out something like some moist doughs and stuff like that, that usually attracts those types of yeast, and you'd have to be able to culture that yeast, and usually you do that through a fermentation process, and then you would have to combine all those things together. But for me, it's a lot simpler because I work with a biotech company who
Yeah, I'm saying. I don't think you're doing it at home, bro. I mean, if you're doing it at home, let us know when it's ready, you know? That's all.
but
All right, so
I use a spores. It's a mother culture.
this is from Silly MYC. What are the best organic living soil value brands? Oh, value brands. What are the best organic living soil value brands, in your opinion?
I mean, look, I'm gonna be honest. You know, I am someone who's associated with organic cultivation and regenerative agriculture, but that shit's also often thrown around and used in just marketing. You know what I mean? So be careful. Um, you know,
I mean, yourself, you know, his brand,
I,
man.
I mean, I do my due diligence, man. We do metals testing independent of what distributors for, like, if you're buying tons of let's say wollastonite or calcium sulfate gypsum, or if you're buying any of these things by the ton, they come from these huge distributors that get them directly from whoever's pulling them out of the ground. And so you can get testing on it and stuff, but we do independent metals testing through this University of Louisiana Geosciences lab. And when it comes down to it, man, I'm gonna be completely honest, bro. You would be fucking shocked to see the list of products and the fucking quantities of heavy metals within those products. It's one of the reasons why I don't use fucking anything that comes out of the ocean. I mean, out of like 25 different brands of kelp meal, there's one brand which was Espoma, and their heavy metals were at like 1.7 or something. Everybody else was over 25, but all the way up to like 56 ppm of like arsenic and other heavy metals, but specifically arsenic for kelp. But if we're looking across the board at amendments, regardless of where they're sourced, that's why, like, when you do soil like we do, we test every single input. We test our compost, our peat. Dude, we test our freaking pumice. You know what I mean? It's just one of the things that you kind of have to do to gauge which providers of these inputs you should be sourcing from. And here's the thing: all of the companies that have brands are all sourcing from large, big ag companies, right? And so I go directly to the source because I have a fertilizer company and I sell bulk amendments, and so that's just how it works. If I want to guarantee, that's why that's why not all my stuff is just Diamond K or brand or this brand or this brand. I have a multiple collection of like different large ag providers that are supplying different elements, because we've had to go and test different ones and be like, oh, we can't use that one. Oh, yeah, can't use that one. You know what I mean? And you'd be surprised, dude. Like some of the big players in the organic space that have been around for a long time, dude, their products are fucking chock full of heavy metals, dude. You would be fucking shocked.
And that's why y'all need to go right to Bakashi Earthworks, man. Just saying. If whoever asks that question, that's where you're gonna go.
But
that's it,
here's the thing too. There are like ways to mitigate the uptake of heavy metals, and simply just having the right pH, because when you start having acidic conditions, the solubility of heavy metals like arsenic and cadmium exponentially increase the lower the pH goes. So if you're sitting above like 6.5, you're between 6.5 and 7, you shouldn't really be having uptake of heavy metals, especially if you've got a lot of organic matter in your soil, and especially if you've applied things like humic acid, because humic acid is different than fulvic acid, because humic acid will create, it'll chelate, it'll grab onto shit, but it won't release it in acidic conditions. It'll only release it in higher conditions. So as long as you're maintaining a pH where that's not going to be, if your pH starts to go up to 8, then you can release mineral ions from humic acid. Fulvic acid, it stays soluble in both acidic and alkaline conditions.
All right, what's your go-to ferments from CB Grow Me?
So the only reason I would do any ferments is just for stuff on my own property. You know what I mean? Because I own the land, and if I'm doing any type of composting and bioremediation and stuff, it's so that way I can build up my soil health. And the reason why is because typically natural native soils are extremely deficient in nutrients. Like, you couldn't just take a natural soil and start a corn crop without having to do some type of remediation or fertilization to get the expected result. And so, like, here, my soil at my place, it's just basically sand. My water holds more nutrient than my soil here, and so I have to use the application of large amounts of organic matter And the things that I would use, and I'm not even doing it really right now, but like if I had an abundance of leaf mass material, biomass, that's what I would ferment. I would ferment cannabis waste or waste from the gardens. You could ferment that. Do a fermentation with the microbe plus and molasses, and then you can store that for a long period of time. All that matter will break down. It'll basically turn into a liquid concentrate that can be used as a fertilizer, and you can apply that, frequently throughout the system, especially in the case where I'm at, where I have to do frequent fertilizations. I have
Right.
to do because my soil doesn't hold any nutrients, or water, so I have to always being applied in small amounts,
Right.
if I was to fertilize. And that's kind of what I do. I do a combination because my soil's so depleted that I do low leaf mold composts. I do the chicken litter and chicken shit and the horse shit compost. And then I also take like biomass from all of the dead trees and shit like that and do culture style, mix everything together, and then I also fertilize a little bit here and there.
All right. We have what's the best prep? What's the best prep plants beds before flipping the flower to help flowering cycle? What's the best prep? Yeah. What's the
I think
best
he's maybe
prep
talking
plant
about
beds?
like doing a top dress. So when you're flipping, you have to realize that that plant is at a stage where it's going to start drastically increasing its biomass. You see, it's like it bolts. A lot of varieties can go 3, 4 times the size that they are at that particular time. So you don't want to neglect your nutrition. You need to make sure you still have adequate nitrogen because a lot of people cut off nitrogen right when they flip, and that's not what you want to do. You want an increase in nitrogen as your it's like a logarithmic scale. As you increase in biomass, you want nitrogen, and then at the peak of your biomass production, you want to just let it slowly, naturally decline through the season to where but you have to make sure that you have enough at that peak. Because if you don't at that peak and you don't add anything during that decline, and you can't get enough to get to the finish line, you're going to decrease your yields. Um, but what was the question again? Sorry, something about nitrogen, right?
Oh, oh yeah, I just put up a different one. Let me go back. Wait, it
I'm
was
stoned.
where did it?
So,
Oh, what's the best prep for
oh yeah,
plants beds before
yeah.
flipping to help
Uh,
help?
Also, so calcium's important, phosphorus is important. Um, but here's the thing. So the way I approach it is I try to front load nitrogen and calcium early in veg, so that way during transition I can add in potassium without having antagonistic relationship with high availability of calcium in my soil. And so what I'll do is I'll typically put in a potassium and phosphorus amendment along with a NPK amendment at that time, and then I'll go back to small amounts of calcium throughout the rest of the phase, and then later on in flower I'm focusing more on potassium.
Uh, okay, I just want to say I know we had said 8 to 9. Do you want to finish the questions out or do you want to wrap
Yeah,
it
we can
up?
finish
Totally
them
up to
up.
you.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. What's your opinion on Cal 106 if you're familiar with
The
that? And then I'll
PCAM.
go.
I,
He actually.
I'm
Okay.
I've heard people talk about it and stuff, but I don't know much about it. I think it might be calcium orthophosphate, if I remember correctly, but I can't even remember. I don't know. I use calcium silica. I mean, that's like my go-to. If I'm needing a calcium amendment, it's usually gypsum, bone meal, or calcium silica, and
And
mostly
this
it's calcium silica because I'm getting the added iron and magnesium.
the second part of his question was, what is your opinion on boosting levels of Cal on moms before taking clones to enclose clone bigger? So that was the second part of his question.
Yeah, you should always be front loading calcium in your veg phase. Calcium is like a canvas macronutrient. You can't go toxic on calcium. I mean, you can antagonize other nutrients by having too much in your soil or in your solution in a hydroponic media, but you can't really overdo calcium. I mean, I haven't seen it. I've seen tissue levels up to almost 9% with no adverse effect.
Uh, okay. Is there a SOP or recommended feed schedule on how to use the Bakashi line?
There is. It's on the website, and then you can also DM me if you guys need it. And so the way it works is it's three-part. The nitrogen is for veg. The N humate's for veg. The complex humate has an even distribution of NPK, and it's for that bolting or that pre-flower stage when you first flip. And then the K humate is for flower, and you just add the calcium silica. You only use it twice a month, and then you use the humate with the calcium silica. So it's a really easy program. But there's a feed chart on the website, and there's also a bunch of blog posts. I write Monday through Friday. I write a blog, and they're longer than what I can write on Instagram. So on Instagram, sometimes you'll get like a shortened down version of like the blog that I wrote that day. That's on the website.
Okay. And make sure if you guys are in here for me and you don't know him yet, give him a follow. Give him a follow, check him out. But this is from Big Duke Genetics. Where can we find the heavy metals testing for your products?
There's a SDS sheets. If you go to the bottom footer of the page, you can find all the information there. And if something's not there yet, it's because it hasn't been uploaded. But my guy has it, and he's working on all that stuff because we have all of our testing, so it should be there.
Okay, this is from UFO Genetics. Can you talk about magnetizing water with neutering?
No, I can't because I don't know anything about magnetizing water.
Okay.
I'm not sure what that even is. I
Um,
just don't know enough about it.
from Caliman Co-op, can you foliar spray? Can you foliar spray? Can you foliar spray on Calsil or Agsil?
Agsil, you can. Calcil, not. I mean, you can, but it's not. So calcil is micronized, so it'll fall to solution, but it's still heavier than water, and it's not soluble like a salt would be soluble. Agsil 16, however, that is extremely soluble, and yes, you can spray that. You can also spray the humate, but the humate, if you're gonna spray the humate, you have to decrease it to like 4 milliliters per gallon. You
This
got
is
your
from
way down.
Terp Thirsty. Can you use a small dosage of humate for seedlings?
I wouldn't. I would just you can do it after they've popped, but not beforehand. Like let's say you have seedlings that have popped in, let's say, a little peat plug, a little peat moss plug or something like that. Now, if you wanted to, after the first set of true leaves pop up, use it as what we call a starter fertilizer. Because across agriculture, that's typically when people are applying starter fertilizers, is after the first, either it depends on the crop, but sometimes at emergence, but sometimes after the true set of leaves. For cannabis, in this case, the seed usually has enough energy to get it to where it can produce its first true set of leaves, and then after that point you can use the humate, but you need to make sure that you're using it at a smaller dosage rate.
Okay, this is somebody that's in Australia, and he says, "Can I get those Nutri-Pots sent to Australia?"
Not yet. Once we have built out a factory and we have scaled out our operations to be able to do so, then we're going to be able to have global distribution. But this is a massive multi-million-dollar project that we're working on, and it's going to take a little bit of time.
Where's a good place to start learning agronomy? Agronomy.
Yes. So start by taking soil samples. That's how I learned, right? I got soil samples, and then I was like, what the hell am I looking at? I had no idea the first time I looked at that what I was actually looking at. But there's some books. There's a book by Bill McKibben he uses Logan Labs and all of the examples in his agronomic books. I think his book is called The Art of Balancing Soil Nutrition by Bill McKibben, and he has two books. They're both he's a corn and soil agronomist, okay? And his books are based off of field application, not living soil or modified growing mixes, peat-based or cocoa-based soils, or even for like cocoa and hydroponics. He's an ag guy, conventional ag guy. He can do things a little bit different than I would. But his books are chock full of great information, and the information pertains to the Logan Labs testing methodologies and their procedures. And so you can gain great information on that lab and what is happening by picking up those books. This is a great place to start.
Oh yeah.
But you could probably Google agronomy for beginners, and you could probably find decent material.
I'm not sure if this is something. This is where is the cheapest place to buy Microbe Lift? I mean, I'm just reading all the questions. I'm not sure if you have an answer to that or not, or you want to answer that.
I mean, I just found a place off of the internet. I don't remember. It's some like small internet hydro store or something is where I copped mine. I think it was like $70 for a gallon or something like that. It's weird because Microbe Lift Hydro is the people that actually manufacture that. They're the people that make Photosynthesis Plus and a bunch of other stuff. And that is just marketed as a mosquito. And so they registered that product with the EPA as a mosquito, to kill mosquito larvae. But
Right.
it works great for fungus gnats, but they're not going to spend, hundreds of thousands of dollars to have to read-register just so they can say, hey, this works for fungus gnats too, because that's what they would have to do to make a label change. You have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars if you're dealing with the EPA.
Would you push calcium phosphate through flour?
So if I was going to do calcium phosphate, I would be doing a microbial inoculant right afterwards because the calcium phosphate is not available. It has very, very low solubility, and there's reasons, just like we talked about, those precipitation reactions that occur. The reason why we have calcium phosphate rock mineral is because the phosphate anion will bond with calcium to create that. Now, you need some type of chemical, environmental, or microbial weathering to take place to be able to liberate that phosphate from that material. And so if you do use the phosphate, you make sure that you have ideal conditions in your soil, because anytime that you limit conditions of microbial metabolism, you limit phosphorus availability, because phosphorus is highly mediated by microbes through enzymatic activity. And also you need to have proper temperatures, hydrology, gas exchange, so soil structure is important, pH is important. All those things are really important for phosphorus availability and solubility.
Somebody has asked, what do you think about? I don't know if you've heard of Six Coast soil, but the question is, what do you think about Six Coast soil?
Not familiar.
Um, okay, so this might be the last one. It's actually a good way to end it out, I think. First of all, I'd like to have you back again some week. I think this went really fast and went really well. But the last question, perfect question. Where can we buy your products?
www.bokashiearthworks.net.
And
Yep, search
give
for
them a follow.
Bokashi Earthworks. Yeah, you can find, look, the link is in my bio, so if you click on that link, it'll take you directly to the website, and it's cool. So we've got all of our fertilizers, microbes, we've got amendments, we've got the NutriGrow pot on there, we've got seeds, and we're going to be in the blogs too. We're going to be updating that. And
So from me, so where can they find your seeds? What we could actually talk about it another time, I'm sure. But I would like to talk about your breeding, like what you got going on. Your seeds, your lines. Like, I mean,
yeah,
that we could sit here for another hour probably. But I know it's we're at 9:05 now. But we should talk off this sometime. You know, I would like to know. I'm curious what you got going on, and I'd like to maybe offer some of the stuff to my client. Get some stuff on the site maybe. But we could talk
yeah,
off
definitely.
here.
Cool. I appreciate you having me on. It was great talking. It's
Yeah.
always good to be able to give back to the community that supports, what I've been doing and my company. So I appreciate the opportunity to come on and
You got it.
chop it up.
Hell yeah, bro. It's been a pleasure, man. Absolutely. And we'll definitely talk off here at some point within the next couple of days. I'll reach out to you,
All
brother. Thank
right,
you.
talk to you soon.
All right, brother. Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye.
So, yeah, if you guys, don't know or don't follow him, obviously you guys should have followed him by now, man. Go check him out for sure. He's got some genetics. He has a genetics line at least at minimum. I know he's been breeding, a while. We touched on it a little bit in the beginning. But yeah, I'd actually like to bring you guys some of his gear, I think that it would be, you know, I appreciate the guys that put the work in, man. Those are the guys that I want to work with. And I would love to bring some of his gear to you guys. And maybe we'll have a whole nother hour within the next couple of weeks, whenever we can make it work, where, we could talk about genetics and get back into that a little bit as well. So, all right, we're supposed to have Tino on. Is Tino here? Where's Tino? Tino's genetics. Where you at, my brother? Are you here? Is he in here? Ah, he isn't here. Let's go. All right. Let me invite Tino in here. There you go. And the same thing's gonna go, guys. Like, we have that pin. You got it?
Yo, what up? What up? What up,
What
everybody?
up?
What's
What's up,
cracking?
brother? Oh
I'm trying
yeah.
to get my smoke in before I came on here.
Oh, you're good, bro. You're good. Fucking smoke away, man. Smoke
What's
away.
cracking, Rob?
I mean, yeah, we went a little over on that hour. It's pretty good conversation. Interesting, hard to
Oh
keep up a
yeah,
little bit.
yeah.
He's
Brandon's super cool. He's
super
super
cool.
knowledgeable. I always watch his lives in the morning. I got a
Yeah,
chance to
man.
actually meet him. He probably doesn't even remember, but I got to meet him. Well, he probably. How can you not remember? I was dressed up like an idiot. I got to meet him at the. I got to meet him actually at Emerald Cup. I think not this last year, but the year before that. And so that was pretty cool to meet him and then to see him on here and all the
Oh
cool
yeah,
organic stuff that he knows. Like he knows so much shit, and
yeah.
plus I really like to support him too because he's like, he's out of prison too. He's like same shit. Like so, it's
Join
dope to
the
see somebody
club.
like that,
Yeah, join the
somebody else
club,
like that
bro.
being successful in the industry as well. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. That was good. I want to bring more, more people like in these lives where, we have the breeders like we talk about, but I also want to do some home growers and stuff and like showcase some of these guys a little bit, guys that might be growing your gear, bring them in, like I mean, these are things that I've been thinking about doing. I started to try to do it, but it's hard to get these guys to like actually show up. That's the problem sometimes. Like I'll have people plan to come and show their garden and they just don't show up. So it is what it is. Hopefully, we can make it more of a thing for sure.
Yeah. What's up, Hank?
Um,
Let's go to pedestrian. Let's go, weed
yes,
dork.
let's go. But yeah, let's talk about the new line. Let these guys know what you got coming up. I mean, I'm sure everybody here knows who you are, but you could,
Yeah,
we could
no,
introduce you. You could introduce yourself
definitely.
again.
My name's Tino. We run the pizza gang. We have the lovely pizza gang. It's a solid following, and we have uh, the beatdown page. We have like to have a good time over there. But yeah, we have a really good following, and of course we got the pizza boxes and all kinds of cool stuff. A bunch of different logos, and we like to have a lot of fun with it. But yeah, the new lines, I got Fems and Regs coming out, and I know I've been talking about these lines for a while because we've been testing them, and some of them are remakes, that are like redrops uh, and stuff like that. So it's like, and I want to do the Fems and the Regs, both drop those. I also have like some remixes, like so the strains are done like both ways. So it's like the female's the male and the male's the female, like the berry crack. And I think I have the strawberry crack too, remix. I know those sold out really fast last time. And
Yeah.
everything's coming out really good. Yeah, we've been testing everything for, a lot of people have grown it out, a lot of testing. Uh, and I'm real excited for the strawberry crosses and stuff like that. The only thing I find in the strawberries is that like, there's some mutants, you know what I mean, in there, but they show themselves like really early. So that's really the only negative thing I'm seeing. Some people like that shit, but I wouldn't grow any of them out. I would just go on to the next one. You know what I mean? But I haven't seen any herm problems or anything like that. That's really what really matters. You know what I mean? It's going really good. But yeah, it's the strawberry cross line for the Fems, and it's going to be the purple Doge line for the regs. And the purple Doge has been going really good. Like anybody on the East Coast or that has like not the best growing conditions outdoors. I still had somebody in New York have my plant outside up till yesterday, and it's no mold, no bud rot, no PM, and that's out of the purple Doge line. You know, so it's like I've specifically made that line for like the East Coast for people that struggle like with PM and stuff, maybe more PM resistant, and more specifically the triple crack. That's for like, you know, growing outdoors. I mean, they grow really well in indoors too, but you know, I made them because they're more PM resistant. You know, they have that resistantness that a lot of strains don't have nowadays. You know, like you're growing cookies and gelato, all these hype crosses, and there's not even a thought. Like these guys don't even realize or whatever they're crossing. That's not a thought in their mind to even breed for that. You know what I mean? So I try to do that. Try to bring back some of the older stuff. We got a lot of older strains. I've worked a lot of the same strains for years and years. Crossed my stuff back with itself a bunch of times and a bunch of stuff like that. So this is just kind of the tip of what we got coming. We got a bunch of I got like F2s. Oh yeah, I forgot. I got the Monkey Farm F2s, and then I have the pineapple cracks, the peach crack, the berry crack. That's the green crack gelato line. So there's actually a couple other drops I'm gonna be put in there too that are ready to come out. But yeah, a ton of stuff I'm excited for and getting good feedback.
Yeah, everything I see looks fucking amazing, man. Everything, you know, it really does. And if you guys have any questions, like White Boy, I see you asking something. Just know, guys, those comments will go like this, and we won't get to them. You see at the bottom of the pin where it says hit the little question box. Put your questions in through there, and we'll get to them.
Well, how does
That
it
goes for everybody in here, man.
that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll try to. He can answer it off there, but overall, there's 100 people in here. You guys throw your questions in through that little question box down there. Hit the little question mark and put your questions in there.
The triple crack stack's really good. You know, it stays like a smaller plant. I mean, it's not too small. It's a really nice plant. It does like the solid main cola, you know, about like that. You know, fat main cola and has a nice crown around it. Bunch of good terps that are coming off of that. You know, crazy terps people are finding. Rotten Peaches is super. Yeah, the Rotten Peaches we're doing work with too. We have it crossed, you know, to the strawberries. We have it crossed to the purple Doge. You know, we're releasing those strains, but I'm trying to work on another. I guess it would be a S2, just a Rotten Peaches line. We could drop that, and a bunch of stuff that we actually have going on right now behind the scenes. Ton of crosses that I'm working on, like bringing back some of my older stuff and popping a lot of seeds. So
How about
it's good.
the other new line, the Snow Beef line? Is that going to be coming out anytime soon too, or?
We have the no beef line. It's going through testing right now. Um, I I haven't decided like when I'm gonna release it yet, but yeah, I'm gonna have to put more testing into it. There's some like germination. There's some germination problems on some of the strains, you know, and stuff like that. And I want to get them. I want to get them grown out and flavor profiles so I can name them properly before I release them. So like all these strains we've been working on for at least a year, some of them even longer, that we're releasing now. You know, they've all been tested, they've all been grown out. I just got to go through and really pick the names, you know. But I could probably show you some pictures. I'll go inside right now after I smoke a little bit more. You guys caught me right. I'm all stoned. I'm all rambling.
And
But
wait, I just want to say, you guys put him in through the question box, man. I have no problem trying to see through the comments, but you know, your comment's going to come up, and I'm going to let him continue to talk, and then your questions is going to be gone. Like Rego, what methods do you use to control stretch after flip? These questions, trust me, I'm not going to get to them, guys, if you don't put them through that question box. because I'm not going to interrupt him again. You know, once we're talking and your comments end up gone, you know, put it in through that little question box. I'm not going to say it again. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the germination problems. They're just not. It's just not 100%. Usually, everybody's like that grows my stuff is used to them popping in 24 hours, and they all pop and really vigorous seeds that I have. And I just like my stuff to be really good. If there's any type of, if 30% of them aren't germinating or whatever it is, I just need to figure it out what it is so I can tell the people, and I need to go through and really figure out, okay, was that a problem germinating it? Is it the seed? So it just takes time. It takes time to really test your shit, and then I got to grow it out and do all that before I'm even going to think about releasing it. I mean, I released some packs early. That's kind of what we do. Even some packs that I don't plan on ever releasing it, I still let to someone like the Pizza Gang and people that know how to get them early get them, but mostly it's going to be like drops on Darkstar's site, and I gotta wait till they're tested. It's just I can't let them out early. There's no point.
No, not at
It's
all.
just
And I appreciate
like
that.
it's like if I get one bad pack of seeds, I don't care who it is. Like I forget who I bought a long time ago. I got a Jungle Boys something TK something stupid. It was like I got like 15 males. I got one female. I grew out the female. It freaking grew all weird and it hermed. And I'm like, okay, I'm never buying their packs of seeds again. And then another guy had like the exact opposite experience. He got like all same seeds. But it's just like what I'm trying to say is like if you have a bad experience with the pack, you're like there's so many options now. You're like most likely not gonna go with that breeder anymore. You're gonna try somebody else. So I want my packs to be good from the gate. You guys get hooked. You smell those rotten peaches. You smell, the high. You get the high from the strawberries. Strawberries is super narcotic high. Like make you go to sleep. Like I can't even take a dab without taking a nap. And try to bring back. It's super strong, dude. It's like almost too strong. But I try to bring back like terps and good smelling weed, and not necessarily just good picture weed. Like some of the stuff's like light green and not what you would call like exotic, I guess. It's gonna be exotic now because nobody has it. Nobody has those types of weed no more. You know what I mean? Like, how are you gonna call something exotic that everybody has? It doesn't make no sense.
No, man, that's like, yeah, no, it don't make sense at all. When we used to call shit exotic, it was, I don't know, the way they use these words nowadays is just different than we used to use them, for sure.
Yeah. Like everything's gas now. It's retarded.
We need some bad smelling weed, some fucking funk, that's what I see what she's saying. She's right, man. That's what I'm all about.
That's what
I
I'm
like
saying.
that
I'm
part.
like, we used to have some shit. Yeah, it's like the only way you could describe it is like funk or dank. Like you want
Dank.
that shit that's just like, damn, you got, the guy next to you in line at the store is like, holy shit, this guy fucking smells like a skunk. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
he's like, hey, bro, you smell like weed, man. I remember I used to be done trimming, go to a store or something, and it's like you're just like a walking cloud. Like everybody's turning their head. And, it's not like a lot of
Dank.
people don't got that. Yeah, Kush, funky is where.
So
Yeah, I got some
Scott,
stuff with the kosher Kush. I got a bunch of stuff
yeah, you got a
crossed. I got a
bunch
lot
of
of
good
stuff.
stuff, man. I mean, I've seen you with the stuff you had that you just got recently, or are adding in or doing crosses with, and some of that shit sounds fucking insane. So I'm looking forward to it. They want to
Yeah,
know
I'm
about
lucky
the
enough.
grow offs too. When you want to talk about
Oh,
that,
okay. Yeah, I'm lucky enough to be like right here in California. I'm right in the middle of San Francisco and LA, and there's a lot of great growers out here, a lot of great breeders and it's easier to get fucking cuts. You know what I mean? It's easy for me to get real cuts where I'm at, and I'm lucky enough to be where I'm at and to know the people and to have gotten the real cuts that I get. It's hard to get the real cuts because a lot of the breeders that want to give you, they don't release the real shit, or you're getting the second or third watered down fucking whatever. You know what I mean? So to be able to get like the real deal cuts really matters, and not just not just I got a pack of seeds, I grew it, or this guy gave me a cut. It's when you get the real papaya, or you get the real Skittles, or all that stuff, it makes a difference. You know what I mean? Kosher Kush OG 18, yeah, that's what I've done some crosses with that. Yeah, the Holy Grail is fire. Yeah, we got that mixed with the Snow Beef, and the Snow Beef. This is the stuff that we're gonna have coming out. The Snow Beef just washed at like 5%. It I got it crossed with a bunch of stuff. It's doing really well. It smells super strong, and I got it crossed with like the Holy Grail, the Ghost, a ton of stuff. Um, and like I said, I mean, we're working on those. I just gotta make sure they're fit to release, and then I'm gonna drop them.
All right, we got a question. This is from this guy, In-House Genetics Rec. Can I order a medium pepperoni pizza, a 2-liter, and he got a coupon?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
Oh yeah, I gotta give a shout out to In-House. He paid me for a promo. Shout out In-House.
What up, In-House? Oh shit.
So the grow off is gonna be it's just $60 to get in the grow off. Okay, you're gonna get 2 packs of seeds. I think I'm gonna switch it to the strawberry apple fritter and the pineapple crack. So you're gonna get those FIM seeds. You're gonna grow it. We're just gonna base it off of pictures, and I'm gonna have a couple $1,000 worth of stuff. Well, $1,000 to Tony's used grow equipment. So you guys can go get a light, get it shipped to you. $700 light, $300 shipping, or whatever the fuck. So you're gonna have that. You could win that. I'm gonna have some boxes. I'm gonna have some other people donate some stuff. I just got some iPod AirPad, the fucking things that go in your ears.
Yeah.
The Pros.
Okay.
I don't know. They're like a couple $100 or some shit.
Yeah,
I got a bunch of
$200.
seeds. I got a bunch of shit to give away. We're gonna do like 5 or 6 winners. I just want a lot of people to get in. It's only $60, and you get to compete and show off your growing skills against everybody else. I'm gonna be also probably trying to grow some along with everybody. So you guys will be growing against me too now. But yeah, that's going on, and we're gonna try to get it in by the end of the year. So end of December, yeah, first of the year, whatever you want to call it. We're gonna try to get all that in and started by then. Your seeds have to be popped by then, and then try to be that way we can end it around like April time. Is the plan.
There's a follow-up from this guy, this In-House Genetics guy. It says, where did the idea of the pizza box come from?
Oh, the pizza box idea?
Yeah.
Well, that's I got my logo, my original logo. I don't have it on right now. I'm always wearing it. Here it is. I had my original logo, and I got about 2016, 2017. I was going to all the sessions here in town, and so I bought like a big tent with my logo on it, and I did the whole thing. Anyways, I would go to the sessions, and everybody thought I was a pizza company. They get all high. They come up and they're like, "Where's the pizza, man?"
No shit.
Yeah, I just be like, I got no fucking pizza. I got fucking I got dabs, I got weeds, I got seeds.
That's true.
Back then I was doing the whole like take a dab, smoke the bud. I got the seeds of it. I had that back then.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyways, I had it started getting me pissed off. I started getting fucking mad. Here I go to the next week. The next week's one. Hey, what's up? They're fucking. They're like, hey, the pizza. I was like, so I get online. I was like, man, I gotta do something. There's something here. I got people coming up to the booth, but I'm not engaged. They're just walking away. So it's like, so I was like, you know what? I just said, fuck, I'm gonna order some fucking pizza boxes. I got online. I was like looking up boxes for packaging for my seeds, and then just pizza boxes came up. I was like, fuck, I'm just gonna put pizza box. I'm gonna put my logo on it, and then I went to the session, and then they would come up to me like, hey, sure enough, same shit. Hey, got any pizza? And I'd be like, yeah. You know what? I sure do. And I would go back and I'd have a box already set up, and I'd pull out the pizza box, right? and they would have like a shirt, and it would have like a half ounce and fucking dabs and like everything. I'd be like, yeah, here it is. They go, oh shit, oh wow,
That's
that's pretty cool. And then they, I want a bottle, they check. I was like, take a dab, fucking take a hit, and then they're like, then they're hooked. You know what I mean? So that took off, and then some other shit happened, and I started dressing up like myself. My buddy's dad made this logo, and then I think it was like a year later, I was like, fuck, I'm just gonna. One day I didn't tell anybody. I got all that shit ready. I put it on at the sesh. There's fucking hundreds of people there. I didn't tell fucking nobody. And here I just come walking out with the fucking whole outfit on, and fucking my booth was flooded. It was dope. Yeah.
That was
Plus,
it,
I
man,
always
yeah.
had the best weed. I always had the best weed there. Everybody got mad at me because I had the best bud. I came in, I sold eights for 20, so I took everybody's business, and then I slowly raised the prices back up. But yeah, that's how it went down. Fucking with the pizza boxes and dressing up and all that stuff. So yeah. Oh yeah, remember when we handed out pizza boxes at Masonic's grand opening? Yeah, we went to Masonic's grand opening. I told them I was gonna go. I went in peace. We were cool then, and we went there, and I was dressed up there, and we gave away stuff there. It was pretty cool. I gave him some seeds.
So this is from Gray Goat 918. What are your methods for controlling stretch after flip?
Controlling stretch after flip. I mean, I don't really do anything really. Like, I don't spray or do anything weird. The only thing I do is like if there's a problem or whatever, I'll just increase the light, in veg or whatever, tie it down or something like that. I usually let the plants grow pretty naturally because I want to see the natural expression of the plant because I'm doing a lot of breeding and testing. So I don't want to like manipulate it too much. I want to see how it grows. If it's fucking super tall, I need to know that it's super fucking tall. If it's short or whatever, you know what I mean? So, but I mean, if I was trying to stop stretching, I would just fucking put the lights down on them.
Exactly. Yeah. Are you planning on releasing any clones? And that's from the same person, actually.
Yeah, we have a bunch of clones. Right now, I don't really do clones necessarily. I do more snips, and I'm gonna do like transitions every month or two. I'll have them available, and then I'll be off for a month. So like right now, it's coming to the end. If you guys want to get snips, this is gonna be here in the next couple of weeks. I'm gonna cut down on my plants, so it's gonna take another month for them to be big enough to cut again. So if you want snips, now's the time. But you got to root it yourself, and I feel like it lasts better in the mail, and it's not a live plant. So if you're good at cloning, or if you need help with cloning, or walk through it or whatever, but if you're making clones yourself, getting them in the mail, plugging them in, you're gonna get roots. And if you don't, I'll always send them again until you're successful. That's why they cost a little more for snips, but it's guaranteed you're gonna get them.
Opinion on defoliation in flower. What is your opinion from Not Your Grandpa's Marijuana?
Yeah. I don't even see any of these questions. It's really weird.
I'm pinning them up, and I wasn't sure. Sometimes, yeah, like the guests, like you don't see me pinning these at the bottom, and they're coming in through the question box. So I'm just throwing them up there. They all could probably see them, but I don't know why it happens sometimes, man. That's why I'm reading
It's
them
weird.
out
I
to
feel
you.
like I'm missing some comments. Yeah. Okay. What was the question, sir?
Your opinion on defoliation in
Oh
flower.
yeah. Yeah. I defoliate. I defoliate the shit out of my plants. It can be harmful. Like you don't want to defoliate. Like in your transition, like your stretching phase, like the first 3 weeks when the plant's stretching and it's trying to grow buds. You don't want to really take any leaves off at that time. I'll do a good strip, like maybe a week or two before I go into flower. Then I'll flower them. I won't touch them for 3 weeks, 20-something days, and then I'll strip them. Pretty heavily. I'll strip them down, and at that time too, I'll take off any like smaller branches. You can tell at that point, the buds are pretty developed, so you can see which ones aren't developed on the bottoms that aren't going to make anything that are, and you see the ones on the top that are way more developed. You strip all that crap off the bottoms. I mean, you can do that ahead of time too, but I usually wait till week 3, strip it all off, strip all the leaves off, and then pretty much the plants are done. All I do then is I'll do another strip in week 6. I'll do another strip in week 6, but sometimes you don't have to, but it's good to do another strip in week 6 because it's going to help a lot with your trimming. And plus, it's that last ripening stage. You should do the week 6 strip. Sometimes I skip it because I'm like, oh, it's just rosin, or oh, I've just made seeds, whatever. But if you're growing for bud or quality or whatever, I would do another strip in week 6. and yeah, I mean, you want the light to fucking hit the buds. You're not growing leaf. You're not growing a bunch of leaves. We're growing weed. Anybody that's growing weed, there's a big difference from the light that hits the bud and the light that doesn't hit the bud. And it's opening up the canopy and getting more light penetration on the right spots is what really matters. And but yeah, it can be harmful. Like you got those 4 weeks right there, about a week before harvest, 3 weeks after. I mean, a week before flip, like week before you go into flower, and the 3 weeks after you go into flower, you don't want to strip it because you're gonna the bud's like trying to develop. It's trying to stretch, and if you take all that off, it's just gonna try to grow leaves after that, and not. It's gonna take away from the development of the actual flower.
So Uncle Lemur asked, and I know we're not, is Tino dropping, where the hell did it go?
Uncle Lemur in the house. Let's go.
It must be at the bottom. I don't even know where it went. I think he was asking if you were dropping the new line tonight, but that's what he asked.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it
And then he
over
has to say,
to Dark Star here pretty soon. We're gonna get. I can go over. I can go over all what's gonna be in there. There's like 15 regs strains, and there's about 20 of the FIMs. I was thinking about cutting it up and dropping them separately, or I don't know if I'm gonna drop them all at once because it's kind of a lot. But yeah, I'm gonna get them over to Dark Star, and if you guys want anything like that, I'm sure they'll be available soon.
I think Uncle Lemur's drunk because he said dark. FYI, Brandon and Tino's audio are going fast and slow. Sounds like they are on coke. And what? Brandon ain't even in here, bro. Wait, you tripping, man? Yo,
Uncle
funniest
Lemur's
thing was
funny dad.
this dude
He
in
knows
my hotel
how to
room, bro.
party.
Yo, that shit was hilarious, bro. I was like, I gotta go, bro. I gotta fucking go, man. You need to go, bro. That shit was fucking hilarious, dude. I seen him walking down the hallway, dude. I'm like, oh, that shit was Breeders' Ball was fun. All right. We already touched blowing trees. I'll throw it up one more time because maybe you weren't in here, but we did talk about it. What's up with the grow off, the cup grow off? What's up with the cup grow off? That's from blowing trees.
Yeah, so it's $60 to get in, $60 to get in. There's going to be thousands of dollars in prizes. The main prize is going to be $1,000 credit to Tony's used grow equipment, so you'll be able to get whatever you want there. Yeah, and we're going to try to get it done by the end of the year, first of the year, I mean, or whatever you want to call it. And I'm trying to shoot to be done in April. It's going to be based off of pictures this time. Usually I do like clones, and we base it off of, you guys got to send back a sample and all this other bullshit, but people don't really not as many people get into that one. So, and a lot of people have been asking me to do a seed grow cup. So it's going to be the pineapple crack and the strawberry apple fritter. Both of those strains, you're going to get however many seeds of both of those. You can grow one strain, you can grow both strains, it doesn't matter. They're both great fucking strains, and I just want to get them out there, get into you guys' hands. If you guys don't have them, I mean, I recommend going and buying them just to have, because they're fucking killer. They're killer, feminized, solid, frosty, bag of pill smell. I mean, you can't go wrong. They've already sold out. This is the restock of these two. So tons of people, hundreds of people have already grown them, and I've already done a whole grow off with the strawberry apple fritters as well, and it just is a really amazing strain. And the same thing with the pineapple crack, comes out really, really well. So if you guys want to get into that, yeah,
How did it
just hit the
grow
DM.
off with the strawberries? How did that go? Was there a winner? I was in the troop chat for a while. I must have just exited because I
That
was just
that went
like,
really well. Everybody loved it, except
okay,
for the beginning part with the mutants or whatever.
I
And
see,
I tried to tell everybody, but
I
yeah, I
seen it
mean
all,
everybody.
bro. I seen
Yeah,
that
it's
shit too.
it's just how it always goes with those things. Everybody always complains, but it went really well. You see all the end pictures, and every last one of them's got strawberry terps. They all look fire, and we're picking a winner right now. Actually, we're in the process of picking a winner. That was True's. I helped out with True.
Yeah,
I supplied
yeah,
the seeds for
I know.
his, and that went
He
really
added me to the group
good.
chat.
But the
Yeah, it
most
seemed like it was fun.
proudest thing I am to say is that there was no herms. There's no herms, in either of the either of the grow offs, and it's with all feminized seeds, guys. I really test my feminized seeds. I say my feminized seeds are stronger than my regs. I feel like sometimes, it's because I feel like I have put more work in the fems. I've been making fems since 2008. That's what I started making. I wasn't even making regs for years. It took probably 10 years I made fems before I ever made regs. And the only reason I started making regs is because I wanted to start doing back crosses and stuff with my own strains. And I wanted to make that strain for the East Coast, the triple crack, and all that good stuff. The green cherries came out of all that, and it's just a lot of great stuff we've made along the ways, and but the films are, I would say, are really strong. I'm really proud of my films, and how they come out is a lot of work that goes into those.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. And then we have some on the site still, guys. You guys should hit up the site for sure. I mean, now that we're talking about it, that there's like some strawberry apple fritters left, I think, on the site. There's a couple things on the site, you guys. There's some green crack S1, might be a pack. There's a whole bunch of good stuff on the site.
Dude,
If
there
you
there
guys,
is. I'm really surprised at this site. I mean, it's just a hard transition because everybody's used to getting the packs from me or anything like that. I feel like it is going to pick back up. You know,
yeah,
uh,
no. Even over the last week, I've had like a couple, or it is starting. I notice it's starting to pick back up. So even your gear, we've definitely had like 3 or 4 orders in the last week. But there are a few packs left that you guys should go. You guys should go grab them up.
yeah,
And I'm just saying
definitely
you could use.
the strawberry S1, the strawberry apple fritter, the grape pruno is over there. Uh, some of the reg stuff. I mean, it's all uh, it's all really good. Yeah, Christmas is coming up, and guys, too,
Christmas is
I
coming
want
up.
to just let everybody know Christmas is coming up, and you're on Instagram. It's there's gonna don't get scammed. Don't if you don't know the guy, if you don't know whatever, if it's feeling a little weird. This is the time when a lot of scammers come out and they really try to get you. Some company hits you up, but you think it's them. It's not. They're like, oh, I got these clones, $300. You're like, oh shit, yeah, and then you get burned. And it's fucking. Yeah, the pie face gelato, we got that one mixed to the purple doge and the strawberries. We're gonna be releasing those. The pie face gelato is super fire. What up? What up?
All right, we got. How do you control boitress when you breed these plants? Is it genetic or environment?
Cool. What?
Boitress, like butter out.
Oh, I would say it has to do with the genetics too. But I mean, that's like a more of an outdoor thing. I just I think it's more different strains are more susceptible for sure to bud rot. And I'm fortunate I get to live in California, so I don't have to worry about it too much. I don't really I mean, the biggest thing that causes the bud rot I see out here for me is caterpillars, because they eat the fucking, I'm not having to deal with weather, but it's mostly the caterpillars that eat the little bit of the bud and then it dies and, starts fucking rotting right there.
Hey, whoever thinks
Bud
Leo's
rot, yeah,
weird,
high humidity or
it's not
wet.
Leo. But yeah. I keep saying thank you, Leo. That's Leo's supposed to be next, man. That's not
Bud
Leo. It's
rot
Tino.
looking pretty good tonight, you know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying. I see the comment. I'm like, I mean, I
Oh,
want
man.
everybody to know who everybody is. That's Tino. Leo's supposed to be coming in next, so just so y'all know. Yeah, I know most of you guys do, except maybe one. Um, what do we got? What do we got? We got scenery going. All right. Do you? Okay, here you go. Do you prefer the store bought Caladial silver, or do you think homemade is better?
Uh, I mean, you make it yourself is if you want to do that, that's fine too. That's great. Making it yourself, making it fresh. But I mean, I've had a lot of success with that spaceberry can of spaceberry. I used to buy it from the store and it would be inconsistent. You get this one, it would work. Get that one, it really wouldn't work, or whatever. But yeah, making your own is always good. But I've been buying my shit from the can of spaceberry, and it's been working really, really well. Very good. I actually got a plant reversed right now.
Uh, Riff Ryan, this will be the third time. But it's $60 to join. Hit Tino up. He'll get you. He'll get you. Can I join the grow up? Was the question.
Yeah, yeah. Just DM me. Just DM me, and then I'll get you guys all on the list and get you paid up, and then get the seeds sent out.
Uh, I think this is the same person that asked about the bud rot. Is green crack bud rot bounds? I love this I love this strain.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like totally bud rot proof like it is with PM, but it definitely, like I said, uh, we had a plant still in New York just last week. I mean, it's been rained on. It's been, everything. It's winds blowing everywhere. It's frozen already, and there's no bud rot on it. And I really feel like that purple Doge line, especially the triple crack, is going to be more on the side of you not getting it. It's going to be. I'm not saying you're not going to get it at all. If you're fucking the plants are soaking wet. You know what I mean? Like, but it's going to be more susceptible. It's you grow a gelato over there, you're going to get PM 100%. I'll fucking guarantee it. You know what I mean? Or you grow something with huge buds. That's it's gonna it's gonna you're gonna get bud rot in those conditions. You know what I mean? Unless you have a strain that's more less susceptible to those conditions. You know what I mean? That's really what I tried to make, and it's really proven to be working out. These last couple of years, we've been testing the purple doges outdoors in the East Coast, and it's been killing it.
Yeah, somebody said the triple crack did pretty well in the rainy and foggy days. Couple spots, but not nearly as bad as the other strains leading up.
Years leading up, yeah.
Years leading
That's
up.
what I'm saying. You're not gonna. It's in those poor conditions. You're not gonna completely, bud rot or whatever is going on there. But you need to grow strains that are more to that fucking. I can't talk right now. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I can't fucking express what I'm saying. Strains that are more fucking less susceptible or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say?
Susceptible. Exactly. That's exactly what you're
There,
saying.
there's yeah, it's in the genetics of the strain.
And then we have this is through the question box. Any experience with ferments? I've recently been using insect frass ferments, and I think that it's the end of it. Any experience with ferments? I've recently been using insect frass ferment. That's the extent of the question, though. So
No, I don't do any type of organics or anything like that. no ferments. My stuff's, I run like a really clean. I do like deep water culture, so it's kind of opposite salts with the real clean. You guys are doing ferments and funky stuff, which is
Yeah,
really cool.
you should have asked the last guy about that. Then he would have probably
Yeah,
had
the last
had.
guy, that would have been the guy to ask.
Yeah, we're
You could hit him up in
Brandon.
his morning lives.
Yeah, he
Yeah, I
might
see
still
right
be in
here. He
there
said
actually.
the Parm Crack.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
let's
they
see.
did really well over there.
Insect frass is good for fungal dominant bloom tea from Canna Chris Farms. So this is from Jelanis. Which is your favorite strain that you created, and what is the profile on it?
My favorite strain. I don't know. There's been so many good ones lately. I don't know. Right now, I would say it's gonna be the BMG probably, just because how it's smoking. The Velato. I don't know. I'm like torn right now. I got a couple of good ones, but yeah, it all comes from like that pie maker and the citral tangy. So it's like citral sour tangy, actually what it is. Citral LG haze, sour tangy, gelato, and then we got like the pie maker is pie face mixed with GG4 mixed with rainmaker, you and then I mix that with gelato as well. But I'm really liking I don't know. I can't really pick one. It's hard to pick. I'm jumping all over the place. Yeah, the Rotten Fuel too, but that's BMG with the purple Doge. The Rotten Fuel just is such a unique. I actually got some right here. I just dried it out. It's like a bottom nug, but it's really green weed. But it's just the smell, and the high that it gives you is just like there's nothing I've smelled on the market like it. You know what I mean? And it's like a super happy high. You know what I mean? Like I smoke it, I just feel like like it brings me joy. Like you used to smoke those strains, you just be like like giggling, laughing, like feeling all hella good.
Hell
It's
yeah!
kind of like it reminds me of like that old school weed. Like it's green bud that smells fucking crazy, and yeah, just a crazy fun, happy high. I'm an indica guy, but
Yeah,
uh, it's good to get those gigglies.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hank said BMG or Rotten Fuel, strawberry apple fritter.
yeah. The strawberry apple fritter is also really good. Washed really well. Came out like freaking super clear. We're gonna be doing some more washes right now and testing some more stuff that we're gonna have coming out. I got the banana OG gonna go in. I got that no beef. Actually, we're washing it from my indoor. We're gonna see how it dumps underneath those LEDs compared to the to my buddies. Do you have any more rotten fuel? I have the rotten pineapple. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The rotten fuel's actually been sold out. All those packs went for $100, and I never redropped them, and I'm gonna be redropping them in with this drop. So
Let's
yeah, the rotten
fucking
fuel.
go.
Yeah, it's all gonna be in there.
Let's go. I'm ready.
It's a lot of redrops, guys. Like a lot of this stuff has been tested, been grown out. Um, so it's a lot of it's what am I trying to say? Remakes. I'm second time making
All right, Uncle Emer Lemur wants to know, Tino, are you going to do a whole strain T-shirt lineup?
a whole what?
A whole,
A whole
whole strain
grain T-shirt lineup.
T-shirt lineup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably coming up here soon. I want to do like a pie maker thing with the pie maker logo and boxes and shirts and stuff. Been working on that. Does the pineapple wash good? The one that I washed, I didn't have any experience when I picked it, and it didn't wash that well. It washed like 2%. But thinking back on the pheno hunt I did, I grew 10 of them out, and the other plants that I like didn't wash or whatever, I was like, oh man, those would have fucking killed it. So I gotta hunt it again. I feel like there's some winners in there for sure, especially with the smells, and it transfers over into the jar on the one that we did at least. But it's like pineapple juice it goes from like pineapple juice to pineapple candy. You know how you used to like crack open the cans to like like
Yeah, the little fucking
the metal fucking
the metal
can.
little cans. Yeah, I
Yeah, yeah,
know.
yeah. It smells like that or like to candy, and it's like really good, super frosty, like crazy frosty weed, really frosty, bud.
This from the guy who does my artwork. I'm catching it in the comments though. Do you use CS instead of STS, or do you to do your FEMs? If you're using CS, how much ppm?
Yeah, I use a CS. The ppm. I mean, I've used stuff from anywhere from 50 to 250. You know what I mean? I think the stuff right now that I have is just 50 ppm, 75. It's real low, but yeah, it's the that's that's all I use. Sometimes I've used that one-time spray, and I think that's STS. I don't know what the fuck that is, but I don't. I get so much good success with the Colloidal Silver that I stick with that. That's how I've always done it since I switched from doing it naturally. I used to some of my first films. Well, I've been making films since 2008, and I learned from fucking. Actually, I got the book right here. I learned from this book. This crazy guy Soma. This is the only book I read way back then, about 2006 when I started growing, and I instantly went into growing just to make seeds and had to become a better grower, and figuring out everything. And back then I used to make films with just stressing the plant out or letting it grow longer than what it's supposed to. It would naturally try to push bananas to film itself, and I'd collect those.
That's what it
But
does,
yeah,
man. That's what it does.
some of the better. I mean, real strong. As long as you stress test everything, you can get really strong pollen like that. You've got to be pre-stress test.
Uh, okay, this is from Sour All Day. To someone that has been following but doesn't know Tino, I guess following me, what are your new lines?
Okay, the new lines is gonna be like uh, green crack gelato line, strawberry. The strawberries is green cherry gelato. It smells just like strawberries. It transfers into like every strain. Strawberry is really strong, and it has a really strong indica high. And then we got the purple doge. That's the red line, purple doge. And then we have just the Monkey Farm F2s. There's no line there. It's just the F2s. And yeah, like I said, there's going to be about 10 to 15 uh, regs and 20 something, 22, 23 films. But I'm probably not going to drop all of them, at least not at once. And I picked out a lot. I was up to 30 on each cross. We this is what we've got it down to. But yeah, I got F2s in there. I got some back crosses. I got some IXs, BXs. Yeah, some more work stuff along in those lines.
All
Then
right, Beantown. I
I
think I
could
already
tell you
see
guys
you.
like what the crosses are too here. So.
I'll get rid of that. That was somebody saying, "What's your favorite beer?" We already know. uh, okay, this is Legalized Cannabis Australia. How do you test the ppm in homemade CS?
You would just dilute it, I guess. I mean, test it. You just get a ppm meter and test it.
And then, okay, how many times a day are you spraying the CS? Which week do you start and finish spraying it?
2 weeks before flower, 2 weeks into flower, I spray it fucking twice a day, at least once a day, but better to be twice a day. And then there's certain ways to spray it. Like you don't use that much spray. You know what I mean? I got a reverse plant right now if you guys want to see it. It's the fifth time I reversed the fucking papaya and it doesn't put out any pollen. And I've done it 5 different fucking ways and shit's pissing me off. But yeah.
Will you be putting? This is from Benny from the block. Will you be making more rotten peaches?
Yes, I'm gonna be doing the peaches. We're gonna be hunting through. I have a really good pheno right now, but uh, I'm gonna be hunting through a bunch of more seeds. And you guys want to see the reversal? All right. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
hunting through a bunch of more rotten peaches seeds and reversing that again to make S2s because they're already S1s, and we're gonna have to do the testing and all that. But I plan on reversing it and doing like a line, at least getting like a rotten peaches line because it just has that funky, danky goodness that is just that everybody wants to smell the flavor. Plus, it smells like peaches on top of that. So.
Yeah, I got you guys, man. Just what Beantown said. That's right. Got y'all. Hit up the site, man. But 517 wants to know, does your snow beef have kosher in it?
Does it have kosher in it? No, it's it's fucking meat breath with Z cube. Meat breath Z cube. Oh shit. Yeah, it's reversal.
Uh, oh,
I didn't let it go. I stopped spraying it because it's not putting out pollen. So. Yeah, the rotten peaches were super good.
what week is it in?
What week?
Yeah.
It's like I want to say week like 5 or 6, maybe even 7. It's pretty far along. It's pretty far along. I would like it to start putting out pollen, but it's the 5th time I reversed it. It doesn't put out any pollen. There's just something about that plant. Some of them just don't do it. You know. I was thinking, oh, maybe it's this or maybe it's that,
Like
but
like the Mac one. I know there's definitely some strains that don't like to.
yeah.
So how's the pie maker? I got gifted it. How does it wash? That's from Chef Austin. And I know you don't see these, but they're in the question box.
Okay, so what pie maker do you have? The R2 or the pie maker 13? Or there's a bunch of different crosses of the pie
I
maker.
I have a feeling he might have been somebody that just won one of those the freebie the R2. I'm almost positive.
Well, anyways, the R2s are just the 13 mixed with the 28. But yeah, either way, uh, I haven't washed them, so I don't know. The R2s, I don't know. They come
Yeah,
out
the
really,
R2.
they come out really good though. I I haven't had a chance to wash those. You
All
like
right,
to
we'll get through these
go? Let's
last
go.
questions. Let's see. We got. What about all the merch? When is that coming out from Paul?
Yeah, yeah, we have the merch right now. We got beanies, hats, shirts. If you guys want to sign up for uh, sweatshirts, we're gonna have sweatshirts coming out. Just we need a prepay. I'm actually making a list right now, so I just need your size and to pay, and I'm gonna order them. I'm gonna do about 30 sweatshirts, and I'm not gonna like stock the sweatshirts. You know what I mean? It's too much. Where am I gonna do the whole fucking warehouse
Oh,
full of shit? You know what
totally. Yeah, man.
I mean?
It's the best thing to
The
do. Like
shirts are
like you said, put up a post or go live and just fucking see the sizes people need, and that's it.
yeah,
You know, basically make it.
the shirts are freaking hard enough. You know what I mean? The
All
shirts are
right,
hard enough. But yeah, I mean, we got a ton of good stuff, ton of crosses. Like we're gonna strawberries. Man, I got it mixed to so many things. It's almost don't want to ruin the surprise for you guys.
all right.
But yeah, rotten
Uh,
little strawberry apple fritter. It's gonna be a ton of stuff. The Watt pie, papaya. Real excited
Yeah, I'm gonna bring
for
in.
a lot of it.
I'm gonna bring Leo in too.
Let's
I know it's 10 o'clock right
go.
now.
Oh yeah, it's already 7. Damn, that went by quick.
I'm telling you, bro, these hours fly. Like, you know, I'll sit here. I sit here for 3 hours and have you guys come through.
Yeah.
What up?
What up,
There you
dog? What
go.
up, Tito?
Legalize cannabis, strawberry. There you go. Legalize. Shout out, legalize. That's what's up, man. Yeah, the strawberry kills it. What's
What
up, Leo? What's
strawberry? What
cracking, man?
strawberry you working with, bro? Before we
It,
get
it's
cracking, I gotta know what strawberries you working.
it's my own shit. It's just all it is green crack, mixed with do mixed with cherry pie, mixed with Gelato 33. I hunted it. I found one that smells like real
Like a
strawberries. It's not like artificial
clone that
stuff.
smells like strawberries?
It's like the seed that I popped. Yeah, it's just a
Dude, that's
pheno.
what's up.
It's
No, I
just
was
a
asking
pheno. I
because
found my own. Yeah, it's my own shit. It's just my own strain. It's green cherries gelato is what it is. Green
that's
cherry
a
gelatos, strawberry pheno. But it
that's
smells.
a
What's
rare ass
different about
terp.
it
That
is,
strawberry.
yeah, most of them out there are candy. It smells like candy strawberries.
Yeah,
This
and
one
not like
smells like
fresh strawberries.
you pick this motherfucker off the vine. You know what I mean? Like, but there's no denying that the strawberry and it smells like a real strawberry,
That's
and it has a
dope.
super strong indica high along with it, which is
Oh
when I
shit.
did. Yeah, when I did the dabs, or I made rosin of it, and it's like I could barely, take a dab. I got to take a
Oh
nap
yeah.
type
Oh,
of,
hell yeah. Now we're working
Sleep
some
nap.
strawberry strains this year because Kyle Cushman gave us that old school cut of strawberry cough.
Hell yeah.
And then I have some like seeds from like '08 from fucking his name shall he's a snitch, so his name shall not be spoken. But he had a fire strawberry diesel that was strawberry cough times the sour D, and that
Wait,
shit was flame.
is this a guy? Is he from Maine?
No, that was
What's up,
Right?
Reds. It was
Go,
Oh,
Reds.
right.
go.
Okay. No, there's somebody else.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you off here, bro. Like this
Okay.
dude, bro. I think you know exactly who he is. This dude was in my DMs
Oh,
today,
that
him, bro.
dude.
Yeah, dude. About him too. Oh, all
Dude,
three of
he
us,
said
bro.
he fucking says I'm Jewish, I'm
We're,
Israeli intelligence, bro.
yeah,
Like
all of
I'm
us, bro. We're
Filipino.
like we're the Illuminati or some shit.
I'm
This dude,
Oh
Filipino,
yeah.
bro.
yo,
Hey, did you see
bro,
the
this dude,
post he made about me? It's because I started talking shit on the
No
yo,
way.
Pino,
podcast.
listen.
Yeah,
He
dude,
was
I
in my
started
DMs
talking
right
shit on the podcast, and then he goes in, and I have a logo where it's like the Illuminati eye, like this, right? And he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, we got another one.
Yo,
We found another one," and he made a whole post.
and it was me too because I had Adam come on, Adam
Yeah,
Dunn, and I
yeah,
had, bro,
it is the homie.
I had them all like Adam came on with me after
Yeah.
that. That's when he started coming at me. I'll come in. We don't need to talk about it. But before this live, I hadn't heard from the dude since that day. He was in my DMs again, bro. Again. Oh,
It's
you
so
got leaked.
good, bro.
Yo, I had to block him again. I had to block him with my phone number, man.
Dude, my
Like
old seed
literally.
distributor used to send pizzas to his house and pay the pizza guy extra money to arrange the pepperoni in a fucking pentagram and just lose his shit, bro. It was like, yo, James from Seeds Here Now had trolling down to like a different art form, bro. It was like he was killing me, dog.
Oh shit, that's the best.
But no, like his strawberry, like everybody I know that did like real strawberries, it was like, nobody knows who really bred strawberry cough. There's probably some anecdotal shit. But then there was like, we met.
Story like came from over there. We
Yeah,
don't really
it's
have
supposed
the
to
real
come from
one. It's
Switzerland,
like
from the
S1
Erdbeer.
and all that
Yeah, it's
shit.
supposed to come from the Erdbeer, which is German for strawberry. And we talked to Case, who's one of the owners of Super Sativa Seed Club, like one of the first, actually the first seed bank in history. And we did a collab with him years ago, and he was like, "Hey man, what's up with the Erdbeer with the strawberry? Because that's a rare terp on the market." So yeah, we're working some old strawberries because Kyle Cushman gave us that strawberry cough.
Hell yeah.
And it's a sick old clone, so it needs to be bred with something. I'm testing it for HPVLD right now, to be safe because like I had some homies that was like, "Yo, man," I like Kyle was like, "Hey, you have my blessing to help people preserve this cut." So I was talking to the homies like, "Hey, you want to preserve this?" And everyone's like, "Hell yeah, I want to preserve that." So if it tests clean, I'll be hooking some people up. If you want to work with that shit, I think good strawberry
I
terps
got
is
a
good for the
chance to grow
market.
it out before. It's a crazy fucking
Yeah.
looking strain. It's
Do you have
awesome.
any green crack BX? Since your strawberry is a green crack, like you have any like green crack work you've been trying to fucking bottleneck into like?
I got a ton of green crack. Yeah, I got the S1s.
Yep.
I got
Yeah,
I think I have a BX. I think I got some BX around here. I got green crack gelato BX. I know I have that.
that's dope.
Yeah, yeah, green crack gelato. That's one of the ones that will be
Yeah, one of the most
releasing.
fire strains I ever grew was like back in 2011 in Mendo. It was Af crack. Someone crossed the
The
Afgoo or
Afgoo.
Afgoo
Oh
male
man,
or onto a green crack because green crack was just a clone only for a long time. And I don't know. I just know that shit tasted like you remember them Halloween candies like the Smarties that came in a roll. You know what I mean? It
yeah,
smelled exactly like that, man. Like the most pure fucking candy, almost like sweet tarts. And it
yeah,
was like the
yeah.
frostiest hash strain. And we ran it for a season. We called our boy up to get the cut again, but he got rolled. And we're trying to call him up, and we're like, "Hey man, has anybody seen fucking blah blah blah?" And there was like, "Dude, he got fucking locked up." And we're like, it was fucked up because we should have been mad, upset. It's like, "Oh man, I feel bad for him. He got locked up." And my OG at the time, Mike, he was like, "Fuck, we wanted that cut back."
That's, I mean,
Afgoo. Hey, who made the Afgoo? Was that James Loud made that, or who made that?
I don't know.
He made
I
like
know.
Afgoo or some shit like that.
I
I know he did that.
think I know that there's like what's called the Goo family out of Kovlo and Mendo. But I'm not an authority on it. I'm just a transplant to Mendo. I got lucky
Yeah,
and I was able to work
yeah,
out
yeah.
there. But my homie who lives out in Kovlo, his name is Dylan. He does black sheep genetics right now. And it used to be Hoot Owl Canyon. He's the dude I made. We did a collab called the Rainbird, and it was a strain that finished in late August. But he's the one that talked about this there being the Goo family. Like they bred the Jagu and the Afgoo, and they did all the Goos, and they were a super secretive, like close knit family. And getting like Jagu back in the day and the Afgoo was like hella hard. So allegedly
Yeah,
it came from there. I could be wrong. I know 100% the Jagus came from there, but they're known as like the Goo
yeah.
family. And
yeah. I
like
got a
we're
chance to
yeah,
actually get the actual Afgoo when it first came out. Oh my god, it was like that green bud and it would just like stick to the fucking. It was
that
super
was a
sticky.
good
Stick to the
that
bag
was
where
a good strain.
you have the bag and you like gotta rip it apart like
Yeah.
fucking to get the weed out of it because it's all stuck together.
Yeah, that was a good one. Oh man, I
Yeah, it was
carpet
fucking
bombed my
crazy
small
good.
village to get that back.
Straight up, like yeah, the
That was a
flavor
good
and
strain.
everything, the smell, yeah. But it just it looked and grew a little weird, but it was
Okay.
super fire. Yeah,
No, that was good to see you guys. Thanks y'all for having me on. That was dope. I
absolutely, bro.
popped in at the right time.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, we had Bakashi Earthworks on from fucking 8 to 9.
That dude's
Tino's been here. I
one
ran
of the
into
most,
Leighton
I
Biggie.
don't know him personally. I mean, we chatted, but he's one of the most knowledgeable people I've been following as far as
yeah,
his knowledge, his breadth of knowledge concerning soil science, agronomy, and just
It,
general organic cultivation, and he's
that's
been
it.
through the cycles, especially with his commercial experience is super respectable, because
yeah.
like I'm
He's
I'm an
got
organic
results.
farmer by trade. Like that's my bread and butter. So to see someone that came from that culture. And what's cool is he's from San Diego. I'm in San Diego right now. That's where my whole family's from.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of people in San Diego that are that knowledgeable on organics and soil science as he is. That's more something that you would find in NorCal, north of San Francisco, around the Bay Area, where everyone's a little more kind of connected to the earth and a little more organic. Where more SoCal's more like this kind of commercial salts kind of thing.
Yeah,
Nothing against salts, but like seeing how where Brandon came from and the setup. It's like, dude, I've been watching his blogs lately and hearing him talk about VPD. I like how he breaks it down into like these really simple fundamental terms where like
yeah,
I showed it to my boy and he was like, oh, I get it now. He's like, thanks for sending me that video. So I think he's the truth and his ideas with the when we came out with the pots, man, with the
Bro,
nutrients, I
yeah,
was like, fuck, I should have thought of that. Like,
I
dude,
mean,
that's so
right?
genius,
So
yeah.
cool. And he's trying to
Yeah.
get a grant for like a $4 million grant through like the Department
No,
of Agriculture.
he's doing
And
real work.
you know,
Yeah.
he was three. We were just talking about it. He was, I think, 4 or 5 months out from the 3 years, and he's going to go back, and he thinks that he'll get it. So, I mean, the ceiling is like
Yeah, I'm gonna run
endless.
some of his humates indoors this year. I'm gonna add them to my setup. I've been buying a lot of my humates from Anasazi Gold for a long time. They had the highest concentration of fulvics, and that was a company based out of California and New Mexico because they had the mineral rights on this piece of land that had like their Leonardite shale had some of the highest concentration of humic acid, and they had at one point the highest concentration of fulvics in their fulvic formula. I mean, this fucking gallon bottle looked like dark, like dehydrated piss. Like if you're on a bender and you take a piss that first morning, it was like a gallon of that, bro. And all the cups we won, dude, I used the Anasazi. And then when I saw the readouts of like what Brandon was doing with his humates, and I'm like, oh, we're gonna fuck with this. We're gonna take this for a walk. And one of the things where I really respect him as an organic farmer, one of the challenges we had in Humboldt was a lot of the old recipes we used to win the cups was like it's really C intensive. A lot of fishbone meal, a lot of kelp meal, and a lot of that stuff's popping hot for fucking heavy metals right now.
This
And
Yeah.
is
then you have
exactly what.
This is what he was talking
Oh.
about.
This
Yeah.
is exactly
Yeah.
Yeah.
the conversation.
Oh, he
we
was talking
just
about
had.
that, dude. It's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
fucking pain in the ass,
all the
bro.
inputs from the sea. Yeah.
Exactly what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Like that.
Like
Exactly. So yeah.
we were testing our last season, like 2 years ago before we really had to change it up. We had bud coming out of the greenhouse and GTR that was testing like 31, 32. And then it would come back for like arsenic and cadmium. And we were like, what the actual fuck is going on? And then we spent like 10 G's testing our inputs.
He said a
And
lot
we
of it was
found out,
the kelp.
bro, the kelp, even the Norwegian sea kelp was popping hot for that. The Russian kelp we was getting was popping hot for that. We tested our alfalfa, which was allegedly from an organic source. The alfalfa was popping out for pesticides, bro.
Oh,
Like,
I don't
dog.
know.
And so it's like, I understand salt and commercial people is like, because you have to do that in order to manage your risk to be able to put out a clean product that will test, right? It's like, what if you're starting up a facility and you have 100, 200, 300 lights of shit that just pops hot?
Right.
Like that could make or break somebody.
Definitely.
Oh,
So, for us, like, so seeing what Brandon, going back to what Russ Brandon's doing, it's like, hell yeah, like more people need to learn this because a lot of the OGs I learned from, I'm like, hey, dog, we can't use what we've been using for 30 years
Right.
on the commercial market. It just won't pass testing.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's what we're, I'll talk about later, like going back, I'm going back indoors and we're trying to redevelop our cup winning recipe to try to maintain as much of the inputs as possible so we can maintain that same output. Because I think Russ Brandon probably looks the same. I look at plants as an information system. Like the input has a direct proportionate correlation on the output. Sometimes
Absolutely.
there's an exponential effect on the output considering what inputs you're using. So I think as far as organic farmers, there's a lot of room for innovation to be able to like keep putting out fire because we're in a market right now. Whereas, like, I would argue like 95% of the population of growers is, growing with synthetics and salts, which is cool and all. But it's like you're starting to see this phasing out of organic cultivation in the rec markets and like, all over the fucking country.
In rec,
is,
I see it coming back in home grows. I see it coming
that's
back.
what I love.
From areas.
Yeah.
Because
That's what made me fall in love with Michigan. Everyone was doing organic and the weed was fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. And around here, everybody's doing it because you're getting $200 for a half zip.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's and they're selling out all over the place. Here are the black market sessions, and that's
you're doing great.
they want to see that. They want to see that ring with the ash, and that's what they're looking for.
Yeah. And
the resin
the
ring.
oil ring.
The oil
No,
ring is what they want to see. Yeah, you got that on the organic, and I mean some dude. He was like the first one to sell out. The last one I went to, he $400 zips. Fucking nuts.
Shout out Magnum Opus Michigan. He said, "High Truth Organics, best organic flower out there." Honestly, High Truth showed me some of the best fucking flower I've seen in the last 2 years, bro. I've been all over the country.
And
bro, that shit was fire. Yeah, and then I don't think he wet trimmed his shit because he was like, he brought some stuff that was untrimmed. Yeah, he brought some shit in untrimmed that was just like insane, man. Like I think guys that are growing organic on that kind of heady market, still growing with HPS. It's like I think best quality ever, bro.
Yeah, that's what we were talking on the phone about this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, we're going back, man. Like we just bought a place in Michigan, and I'm gonna start splitting my time between having seed production. I got a bunch of homies that when the market crashed in Humboldt, they can't sell their pounds, and so I had a few homies going, "Hey, man, can we help you? Can we make seeds for you? Like I got nothing else. I got to feed my fucking family." And I'm like, "Hell, bro, you're helping me out. I'd love to create some symbiosis with this." And so that allowed me to kind of be able to have more bandwidth to be in Michigan. But the reason why I brought Michigan up is because it's our whole thing to go back indoors, and it's all going to be HPS, CMH, but with like using, scalable organic inputs. That's why I've been like really following what Russ Brandon's doing, because I want to, hopefully influence a trend with some of the homies like Ross and y'all, like and other organic people like High Truth, to really just start shitting on everyone's flower like the
That's it.
proper way. It's like because the best weed, in my opinion, the best smoking weed is always going to be organic flower. You know what I mean? It's like the plant's got over 30,000 genes. You know what I mean? I think the human. I mean, human. I'm not a scientist, you know. I'm a fucking pot grower. I'm not gonna try to fake it. I'm a scientist, you know. Russ Brandon's like 1,000 times the scientist I am, but you know,
Yeah.
as far as genetics go, humans have like what 24,000 genes, 28,000 genes, and the cannabis plant has over 30,000 genes. It's more evolved, you know. It's a more evolved more evolved life form than us humans. You know, it's evolved to uptake organic inputs, and I really believe that. You know, when you talk about epigenetics, like that's one thing I do study is epigenetics. Because a lot of people say, oh, it's this phenotype, it's phenotype. It's like, bro, how many, I know all of y'all have seen the same, you've probably seen 10 growers grow the same cut and there's 10 different kinds of weed. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's phenotype and
Well,
epigenetics.
that's why
Yeah,
I've actually done grow offs like that, just to see that the different expressions.
I
I'll
love that shit.
do the grow off with all different clones, and then it tells me, you know, the light with the medium, and they're all different. So it's like, this is soil with the LED, this one's HPS with the fucking cubes, you know. And then that's invaluable data that I get back from doing those grow offs. But yeah,
100%.
it's fucking exactly what you're
I
saying.
think that's the
The weed
future
doesn't
too.
even smell or look the same at all.
No, it's completely different. It's like a
Yeah.
phenotype because a phenotype's a byproduct of environmental expression, and then epigenetics is the study of how those genetics, you know, express themselves according to different environmental conditions.
In different
it's like,
environments.
yeah, it's like the etymology of epigenetics is like epi means above, and really it's like the epigenetics is like the sheath around the actual DNA and the actual DNA molecule, and it's the environmental influence on that sheath that's going to turn on or off certain genes that are going to express a certain way, and that's kind of like why I think a lot of the commercial grown weed tastes the fucking same. You know what I mean? Like you have a lot of commercial weed, you'll give 10 commercial growers the same cut, and you'll have 10 really similar flowers. But then you'll give 10 organic growers that same cut, and you'll have 10 completely different fucking, you know, expressions, just like we were talking about. So, yeah, that's cool that the conversations you guys are having, Russ Brandon, because I've been talking a lot about that with people up north and
It was
trying to adapt to the circumstances.
that's it,
Yeah,
man.
he goes
You
live
know,
every morning about 7 o'clock or West Coast time. So you know, it's different times, but I've been every morning lately. He's been going live and just talking about all kinds of shit. It's really great to jump
Yeah,
into.
100%.
yeah, man. And it's very interesting, you know, it just is. And his company is definitely something for you guys to look into. That's the guy, you know, these people in the room, you guys are in the organic, like we were talking about the heavy metals, like he tests for everything. He's tested, you know, he actually puts the work in that a lot of these big companies don't. And
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
and you
And
don't
that's
find that
rare.
too much.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's
You don't
Yeah,
find
so rare
he
these
even
days.
provides like a program where it's like $50 or some shit, and you can send him a soil sample, and he'll do the whole fucking thing on it and tell you like where you're at and all this stuff, you know, from his point of view or
Yeah,
whatever.
and that's that's with
super
today's
cheap.
margins, bro. It's
Yeah,
not like weed selling to top dollar anymore. So to be able to have the integrity to do testing like that when the prices have gone to shit is like says a lot about who you are and kind of
Yeah.
like what your operating code, like what your, you know, the values you operate by. You know, so I really respect that. We did a lot of our testing. We were still getting good money for pounds, and we were like, what the fuck? Because, you know, right when Cali went Prop 64 and then testing went from parts per million to parts per billion, that really was a wake up call for a lot of people. You know, one time in
Yeah.
Humble, you know, there was estimated to be like 34,000 farms. And I think last year, I'm most likely wrong on this figure, but I think it was like somewhere in the figure of like 178 farms reapplied for licenses.
Damn,
Like dog, like
that is
dog.
insane.
That's insane, bro. That's complete economic collapse. And those
Damn.
are figures from, you know, the high operating costs, and also people from, I know I can count on both hands how many friends I have that got out of the game because they didn't pass testing, and they
Right.
just went belly up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Well, shit,
yeah,
I'm gonna get
man.
out of here, guys. It was
Much
nice
love,
seeing
brother.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
give me
You
some
the
green
man.
crack, man. Let's trade, bro.
There you go. Oh,
Give
man.
me some green
Yeah,
crack
no,
crosses,
definitely.
dog. That's one of my favorite weeds ever to smoke.
Shit.
No, I got you.
And you guys,
I got
you
a
guys,
bunch of stuff plus that triple crack. I gotta
Yeah, I
get you the
saw
deals.
that too.
yeah.
I'll
All
shoot
right, man. I'll hit you up.
you
We'll do
a
a little
I'll
trading,
shoot
bro.
you a pizza box. Get you a
Hell
double.
yeah. Yeah,
Knopfler.
make sure you arrange the pepperonis in a fucking pentagram too.
Shit, bro.
All right,
Uh,
man.
All right,
I
man. One
got
love,
you.
homie.
Yeah,
yo,
yeah,
that
yeah.
dude must have been fucking losing his shit when that pizza box got
Bro,
there, because that
when
dude's
James
fucking.
Bean called me up and told me he did that shit, I was dying, bro. I was like, I came unglued, bro. I was like, you gotta troll it down to a new level, brother.
Oh,
So,
bro, I'm telling you, man. Like when I would call Adam, like after the last time he sent me some, I would call Adam and be like, man, and we would go back and forth. So Adam's a trip too, man.
yeah, no,
Adam's funny.
he's like one of the pioneers. You know what I
It was
mean?
cool
Like,
having him on. It was cool getting to
yeah,
know him. It was cool being able to
yeah,
like pick up the phone and just call him because, I mean, we're all the same, really. And to have somebody like that to be able to pick up the phone like for
yeah,
anything, because anytime, here's my number, call me. And we've definitely like spoke since he's been on, and he became a friend. So
yeah.
it's pretty cool.
He's good people, man. I haven't seen him in a while, but
Yeah,
you see him every year at the fucking Emerald Cup, man. So, no, shout out to Adam Dunn, man. One of the realest, truest OGs in the game. He kind of paved the way
absolutely,
for a lot of us to be here.
man.
I mean, it's like,
He
yeah,
totally
not too
did.
many Americans had the fucking balls
To
to
go
move
there?
from the States and to go to
No.
Amsterdam. It's like you count on one hand how many people did it back in the day. There was Soma, there was Adam Dunn,
Yep.
and his partner. I forgot who his partner was. That's also from like the Big Sur area. He's like he's from Santa Cruz. Dougie. There was Soma, Adam, and Dougie, and then there was the DNA Cats.
Yeah, the DNA.
And they
Yep.
fucking became wildly successful,
No,
bro. Like they were always
absolutely,
the
man.
big dogs, you know.
Yep.
So shout out to DNA too, man. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
So, yeah, man. So we had there's some new drops that came out. You got some new lines. Why don't we talk about that a little bit, man?
yeah.
Let them know
Thanks,
what's
man.
coming. I know.
We've been working
Absolutely.
sours for fuck. Sour's always been my favorite strain,
Mm.
and what kind of started our career was like always the gas strains. And I've always had a lot of luck way back in the day breeding Chemdog. And I got some Stardog beans from a pound from one of the best growers in Mendo, popped them, and I put it on a cut of Chem 4 that came off from my buddy in Spyrock, and that became this Chemdog Special Reserve. That's what put my career on the map. So I have like a hardcore love affair with gas. And and I always tried breeding sours, like sour diesel sours, and for the first 5 years, I've ever tried breeding sour, it came out fucking completely garbage. It's like you go year after year of making different sour crosses and you're trying to get that sour expression and you start seeing these patterns like, all right, I'm seeing certain patterns in all the crosses where like the frost expression breeds true. Some of the morphology will breed true. The stretch will breed true. Some of the internal spacing, but that fucking nose would not bring true. And it
Right.
wasn't until I found a back cross seed selection out of Vermont of the original diesel. And it was original diesel. It was the day record cut that was put in the mail that was used was old Friesland. And Friesland, again, comes from the first, seed bank in history, which is Super Sativa Seed
Canada,
Club. And
right?
yeah, no, that's Amsterdam with
Oh,
Case, and it was a bunch of people. That was
okay.
Neville's old crew too, the Super Sativa Seed Club.
Okay, I know.
And
Okay. And then I
yeah,
remember the Friesland. It must have ended up in Canada and something a
yeah,
long
yeah. It
time.
was
Like it was one.
definitely in Canada for a
Okay.
long time, and they just call it
Yeah.
Friesland. But we called it by its regular old German name, which is Friesland. Fereis, and that Fries is freeze
Frozen.
in
Yeah.
German. And so that was one of the nastiest indicas that that you could put onto an original diesel. We didn't make that initial cross. But there's something interesting about pairing Afghanis with diesels, right? So the reason why I brought up the original diesel is that when we bred that with our sours and G6, which is a sour dominant OG and sour, hybrid, that it wasn't until we got that original diesel we were able to get that sour taste in the nose to breed true.
Mm.
And so, and the interesting thing is what was paired with that diesel, which was that Friesland. And, one thing about ResDog, what he really did good with his sour IBL was for the crutch on the initial outcross, when he was breeding with the sour, he used an Afghani. Same thing with Soma back in the day with the New York sour, with the East Coast sour diesel. It was paired with an Afghani. And to this day, a lot of people give credit to Soma and Rez, even though Rez has a very muddied reputation from having a lot of court paperwork on his, on him. But
Right.
what goes without saying that they were able to accomplish something that was really hard to do, which was to get that sour nose to breed true. So I kind of took plays out of that playbook, and maintained that original diesel. And then I hit it to everything sour had: the sour band, the G6, the original cut of sour that came out of New York. We had this thing that was Leggett Sour, and Leggett Sour was allegedly this selection from Res Dog Sours back in the day. It was like a sour that, like traditionally, sour will finish outdoors in Humboldt and Mendo like around early November, sometimes mid-November. But this Leggett Sour would finish like end of October, middle October, depending on your microclimate. And you would have an ounce of this shit in the glove box, and your homie would come up to the car. I'm like, what the fuck, bro? And he was like, yeah, dog,
That-
what's up? And like that terp profile is a recessive trait, and that's just from observation. Like I said, I'm not a fucking scientist, but when you grow X many thousands of plants and you make, X many
Yeah.
crosses, and you spend the money to test them out, you're able to establish certain patterns through observation. And it's like, as French used to say, observation is the cornerstone of human evolution. So, even though I'm not a scientist, I'm super passionate about sour. The strains I make are things I'm absolutely in love with. Yeah, I breed some hype shit too. Everyone does,
Everyone.
right? Like, we got to feed the market what the fucking market wants. Don't give a fuck who you are, right?
I agree.
And if
Yeah.
you don't, and you're able to keep maintaining sales, then more power to you. I haven't been that lucky, right? But the hype strains managed to get me to a point where I was really comfortable with my passion projects, which was the diesels and the original diesels. So a lot of people mistake original diesel for sour. They're two completely different things, two completely different noses, different flavor profiles, but the resin profile is really similar. The growth structure and the morphology is remarkably similar. The frame and the size of the plants are remarkably similar, but the taste that you get from Sour D, you don't get from original diesel. So me putting that strain out in the market was hopefully to get people to preserve Daywrecker, because Daywrecker's starting to float around in Cali again. Shout out All Star Clones. They hit me up. They're carrying Daywrecker right now. So hit up All Star if you want that real Daywrecker, because that's just the real deal.
There you go.
And so the more people that we could get to, because Sour Diesel's making a comeback, OG's making a comeback, and so
Yeah.
and that's also why we released a lot of OGs this year, and that's a project we've been working on off and on. I wouldn't say I was working it off and on since 2014. I would say OG Mike made the first crosses in 2014. We never touched the seeds until like 2017, 2018. And we were opening them up, and then we'd like work on something else. And then like 2 years ago, we really started opening up again and turned it into a back cross project, because we started seeing some actual true breeding OG traits come through, where you open the bag or you smell the plant and it's like definitively OG, like not pine sol, but like that gas,
Lemony.
like that,
Well, like,
yeah,
even, like
lemony, but with gas on
This
it.
is
You
what
know
I'm
what I mean? But not
talking
like,
about.
yeah, like,
Right.
and that's what, and I think the reason why OGs are making a comeback is because you have these kind of immutable trends in the market where a lot of people are breeding these hype strains, and a lot of people that come to me, just this last 2 years, when everyone's growing runts, everyone's growing skittle crosses, and then all the buyers it's like, that's how I breed. It's like I read the traditional market, right? The white's gonna always follow suit with how the traditional market behaves, right? Like they're eternally linked. And so when all the old school buyers and New York buyers like, bro, dog, I need OG packs, and I'm like, there's no OG packs in Humboldt right now, dog. Like every time someone has a box of that shit, it's gone. It's like, no, I need OG packs. I need sour packs. Everyone's got runts and gelato, runts and gelato, runts and gelato. And it's like, they miss being high.
Yeah.
That's real. At the end of the day, people miss being fucked up.
Sour, gas,
Yeah.
chem. That's what people want. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, the OG, like, but like some of that hype stuff. I mean, there's definitely, like you said, there's a huge market for it. But like the people that really know, like they want the sour. You know,
Yeah.
it's like I get more requests. Like that's what they want.
Like OGs, yeah, because on sour you can smoke this shit all day. You're functional,
Mhm.
but you're blasted. But you're coherent. You know what I mean? Like you could actually do shit on sour. I mean, some people have a crazy tolerance, and
Right.
even when I was like smoking, like chain smoking spliffs, I had to scale back smoking spliffs after Frenchie passed. But when it was a chain smoking, I couldn't chain smoke OG all day. I would just turn into a fucking vegetable, bro.
Yeah.
But I could chain smoke sour from sunset to sunrise to sunset, bro. No
And
problem.
I grew up. I lived in Florida through a long time ago. Like after I
Yeah,
graduated high
100%.
school, and that's what we had. Like it was all that, a lot of those OGs did come out of Florida at one time or another, and it was
100%.
just, I like that's what like the people that remember. That's what they want, and it's come full circle at this point. And the sours, even the Chem was pre, that was after that. Like
Yo,
the Chem
Kim's still
Dog.
fire, bro.
Oh no, the Chem is
Yeah,
fucking
I
absolutely,
know.
but
Yeah, it's
you know what I
still
mean? That
good.
came like
Yeah.
a whole nother almost like a little after because they found it in 91, they say at least, Chem
Yeah.
Dog himself. So but like the, early late 80s, even to like the early 90s, like
Yeah,
the
my
OGs and
homie
all that
Josh
stuff.
Free from Empress Farm would say the same thing. And he was born and raised in the Emerald Triangle. And he swore to God that they had something that really smelled like OG, but wasn't called OG back in like the mid to late
And that's
80s.
what
But they knew it
it
was
was.
OG. And he was working this seed. And we had like crosses of it. And like I was blown away when I first saw it. Frenchie takes me up to this farm in Petrolia in like 2017, and then we see it, dude. Like Josh has called it the pre 90. Oh no, it was called the pre 88 or the pre 89. And I was asking Josh, like, what is it? And he's like, I don't know. It's just been here for a long time since the 80s. But when you see that plant, like, it was definitively, unmistakably OG in
Right.
its structure and how it had like this really insane bract to leaf ratio, the way the leaves were shaped. Because, like, like true OGs, like a lot of real growers who really know OG cuts, you don't have the real clone if that shit has more than 5 fingers.
Right.
If all the fingers on your leaves are fucking threes and fives. If the beet leaves this big, it's the wrong one. It's better be a small leaf, but with wide petals, and that's going to be definitively what's going to be OG. And so Josh had that at his farm, and so we made crosses of that strain, and we're hoping to release that into the market. But it's we just got carried away with different projects. But Josh Free from Empress Farms, everyone should ask him about that old school strain that wasn't OG that looked and smelled like
Oh yeah,
OG. It was like
I like it
unmistakable.
now.
The resin profile, it was insane. So yeah, it's nice that OGs are coming back. I'm seeing a lot of other breeders starting to put that on their roster also, with having these really OG heavy crosses, and I think that's a good thing for the market because the market's starting to speak up. Like, yeah, we like tastes, we like flavors, but a lot of people have that nostalgia of that feeling of like like that high that you get from OG, like we were just talking about, is unmistakable, and it's like it's hard to replicate something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what we've been working on. A lot of sours, a lot of OGs, and that's what we're going to continue working on. I'm opening up a lot of my old chem crosses. I don't know if that's going to be too redundant for the market because guys like JJ, their chem crosses have been insane, right? Someone showed me some Familia 95 at the Breeders' Ball that we were just at, and it was some of the best herb I've seen probably the last 10 years. And
Yeah, I mean,
it brought me way back,
yeah,
like way back.
JJ's work is, yeah.
Yeah, it speaks
And
for itself.
it speaks for itself. And
Yeah.
probably might have been the dog father. I know he works with a lot of JJ's, I'm not sure if it was
That was
him, but he works with
it was his selection of Familia
that's
95.
sort
I
of what
was
I
like,
figured. Okay.
dog.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
give you a kidney for a pancreas right now. Like, what do you want? Do you
Yep.
want you want a group of Cambodian babies? Like, what's going on? I'll trade whatever, dog. No, but it was good though. It really brought me back, and so that's what we're kind of returning to. Because Kyle Cushman also gave me the Starberry Cough, which he won a lot of High Times Cups with around 2013, 2015 era, and the Strawberry Cough crossed with the Star Dog, but it's straight chem with a little bit of strawberry. You know
That
what I mean?
sounds,
So, oh, bro, like, yeah,
yeah.
when he gave me the flower, he brought me right back to like 2000, like way back, bro.
Don't you
And
love that, man? Like,
yeah,
it's like the senses and it's just like you smell, you're like, it just brings you right back. It's an
yeah,
amazing, it's a wonderful thing, man. It just is.
100%.
Yeah.
So that's what we were kind of working on, and now we're going to be working a lot in Michigan, going indoors and doing some crosses with Fresh Coast. Shout out Ross with Fresh Coast. So, because I like how he selects his males. When I see a lot of his females and people grow them out, I get a good feeling for like how you select your males. And I think people like Ross and Fang, are just masters at selecting for structure and resin. And so I've not really selected for resin. I was selecting for the first 10, 12 years of my career for how the judges judge the Emerald Cup.
Right.
And the judges in the Emerald Cup would traditionally win the Emerald Cup are these like super terped out strains, like strains that would test at like 22 to 25% on average, but test on average at 4 to 6% terps on the flower. And then when you have that kind of terp concentration on the flower when you're selecting it, like your stalks are generally going to be a lot more wet and lotiony, a little more oily. When you feel the bud, the tactility of the bud is not as like it doesn't have that duct tape tactile feeling.
Right.
It's got more of that kind of wet feeling that you see on like a pure cherry pie clone. Like I think cherry pies are really good because everybody knows cherry pie does not dump in the bag.
No.
But it's an amazing flower to smoke because of its terp content. So that's traditionally what we've been breeding for the longest time, over a decade now. So when I see guys that are pretty hot right now, like Ross, and seeing his resin expression, it's like, all right, cool. That's someone I could learn from him on like kind of how to kind of reorient how I select males to kind of like, let's see, that's my next challenge. It's like I want to see if I could get that kind of resin expression, but with that high terp content. So we'll see if I get there. I might fucking fail, but we'll see. I love what I do, but it's for me, it's like making music. I really feel like if you do something because you love doing it, I think I always thought that if you do something with the intention of like winning a cup or making crazy sales, that then you're not doing it the right intention. I think some people will do it, but I think most of the time it's not going to come from a deep enough place of like
love.
gratitude and of love and devotion, where it's I'm doing this because this is my favorite things to work with. So the most common question, I get thousands of emails, and people is like, hey, I want to start breeding. What is your number one, what's the number one bit of advice that you give me? I was like, find your favorite strain in the entire world and try to recreate that, or try to start blending flavors with that. Because to me, it's a lot like music, or it's a lot like food. It's like people make them, 100%.
I'm a chef, so I mean,
no way.
see it.
It's just like food. Like what separates a $30 steak from a $300 steak? And it's three components. It's ingredients, technique, and timing.
Yeah.
And that's what separates the greatest chefs from your regular fucking line cook. Is like the ingredients that you choose, the technique in which you employ, and then the timing. Like timing is everything. The timing of when you select your ingredients, the timing of when you execute certain techniques. Like that last component of timing really, it's like, someone told me he was in the food too, and he tried out at the French Laundry. He went to CIA. He went to Culinary Institute in America. He went to the French Laundry to try to get a job. They told this motherfucker to cook an egg. That was his interview. I went to egg, motherfucker.
Exactly. Like I worked with for about 2-3 years. Like I went to culinary school, graduate. And
that's amazing. You went to culinary school.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And then I ended up with Jose Garces out of Ecuador.
Okay.
Jose Garces.
Wow.
So he was one of the Iron Chefs, and I worked with him side to side for about 3 years. Ran like.
Why aren't you breeding?
Well, I mean it was I know. Well,
a world class palate, bro. Yeah, you got a world class palate if you were doing culinary stuff like that. Like
it was a good time, man. And food, cannabis, like it reminds me a lot. It reminds me a lot of how you will put together a plate exactly. How we were helping. So
it's everything, brother.
Yeah, everything. We have a lot of questions here. If you want me to get to some of these questions,
I could knock them out, brother.
Do it. Let's go through these questions. These are okay. So you guys see what's pinned there. I'm gonna get to all your guys' questions right now. All right. I don't.
Someone's spying on me.
You can see him.
Someone's spying on me. Someone was talking about a pineapple strawberry cross. We just set aside a lot of our pineapple Thai cross. It was in the Pines. We had in the Pines, and we took the clone. We got the clone from Derek Emerald, and that was one of the first strains to do a landslide victory 5 years in a row at the Emerald Cup. And in the Pines is a pineapple Thai crossed with Master Kush. And so we had that clone, and then we got pollen from Mean Gene back in the day when we were still working together that he called the Pina. And it was like his version of his pineapple. And so we crossed that. right? And then we created these seeds of what became In the Pines, like our rendition of In the Pines. Like I probably shouldn't have called it In the Pines back in the day, but I was a young breeder. You make mistakes, right? But what we did was we took that strain, and this old school chick who was really good friends with my co-founder, her name is Jana out of Willits. She gave me this legit clone of pineapple Thai,
Mm.
like the original pineapple Thai, bro. It was the most pineapple smelling thing. So we took seeds from the In the Pines, Jackson's pineapple, the male of that, and put that on the pineapple Thai. And I just broke them seeds out this year with the sole intention to put that shit on strawberry cough. Because it's a sativa dominant plant, and so is strawberry cough. So I'm like, well, I probably have a high probability of this working out.
Oh
But
yeah.
the problem with working pineapple Thai or anything that has Thai in is traditionally Thai has a high tendency to harm on you or to stress out, and that's just a byproduct of how it was bred, and and its environment down in Thailand where you're really close to the equator. Your photo period's always going to be 12-12, and
Mhm.
so it's like, and for some reason those plants have a hard time being super stable. So when we first released a pineapple sorbet, there were some people who were getting nanners back in the day. And then it wasn't until we got that shit in the F4 where it was just solid. It really took off. And that really took off in Europe because we bred the pineapple sorbet in Cali, brought that to Barcelona when we opened up in Barcelona in like 2017 with Professor Q. And shout out, he's like my brother, my co-founder. You know what I mean? And but when we worked that into an F4, then we were able to breed out a lot of those undesirable traits where we were stressing it the fuck out, and it wouldn't even pop. When it stopped popping nanners, it didn't stop popping nanners until we found some strong clones in like the F4 selection. So, but yeah, we're going to be breeding with, to answer your question, yeah, we're going to be breeding with that. And another question, will you be using UK cheese in the future? I'm actually on a mission. When I go back to Spanibus in March, I'm hunting down the Exodus cheese. I got a few cats in the UK. The cheese is still alive and well in the UK. We just don't have it here in the States. And my boy Travis, shout out North Coast Travis over in Michigan, who rolls some of the best fucking hash roll donuts in the world. He asked me specifically to find some cheese because he wants to put them cheese terps into his donuts. And I was like, well, I've been looking for cheese too, just because I like smoking it. And I was like, I'm gonna try to bring a clone back from UK. We'll see if I can do that.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean, Ross has a secret
yeah.
cheese line too. He got the secret
And
cheese. So
his shit smells cheesy too. And I'm
I'm
like,
just,
what's this
I'm just,
crossbred? And you're like, how did this come out smelling like cheese, bro? And it
I know.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to take that and put Ross's shit on that cheese and see what we could get away with, bro.
So you can see these that I'm throwing up, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
okay,
What sour do you work with?
Tino couldn't see
Um,
him, so
Loud Pack asks what sour we work with. I mean, if you really look at the lineage of what we've become known for with our sour crosses, honestly, a lot of it was the Leggett sour, which is a Res Dog sour, right? And then I had legit seeds that I got from my buddy Scott up in New York, who had these Res Dog seeds. He gave those to me in like 2017, and that kind of became the backbone of a lot of our sour crosses. And then my buddy Aiden, shout out Aiden, who he was the head buyer at Magnolia Wellness in Oakland. They were one of the big. When Harborside was at the top of the world back in the day, Magnolia was right behind them. And so my homeboy Aiden, he had a boy that did 100 light selection in the Bay. 100 lights for selection. Imagine the rent and the power payment to put 100 lights on in the Bay, do a selection. This shit was crazy. But he shows me this bag when me and Frenchie dropping off some hash, and it's the loudest sour I've ever smelled in my fucking life. Like it was like life changingly fucking epic. And it was their selection of G6 jet fuel
yeah.
from 303 Seeds, which is an OG sour OG. I don't know the exact cross. I just know that it quickly became my favorite clone. And just like a proper sour, if you grew it outdoors, that shit did not finish until early mid-November. And it turned purple, and it had this insane sour nose. So those are the sours that we work with. The original Diesel BX that was crossed to the Friesland, the Leggett sour, which is a Res Dog sour, legit 08 seeds from the sour, and then the G6 jet fuel is really the building blocks of how we've been delivering sour to the market. So we haven't really bred with a lot of the original cut. They're kind of like reworked renditions of that cut. So which strains in your newest line do you think will be good wash? Anything sour. The sours. The Larry Wrecker. That was one that damn near clogged the fucking seed sorting machine. And yeah, because you know how it has you have the zigzag, and then it goes like this, and then it goes down where you get all the chaff collecting. Well, there was like this apex where it has to pass through, and we started getting resin buildup on this apex when we were breaking down the Larry, and then now we were smoking. We got because we were testing it this year. We made the seeds last year, but we were testing it. I still have some bud from last year in the closet that still smells fucking fire, and that was like still has that resin structure. And so, in my opinion, the original diesel was a dumper, but not as much as what the Larry Wrecker was doing. The Larry Wrecker was a dumper, bro. And the Alder Point Sour dumped pretty hard. But a lot of people that they didn't like about Alder Point Sour was the resin tends to get a little dark. Even when you wash it fresh frozen, the resin is like a darker shade of tan than say when you wash like a papaya, and the color of the resin is going to be more like this kind of yellow,
Right.
a little bit. Sours and cherries for some reason tend to turn out a little darker in the bag, and especially on dry hash. Yeah, there goes Davey Napalm. It's my boy in Missouri. He said Alder Point was dumping.
I see him.
He was growing Alder Point out in Missouri. Wet. They're right in the Mississippi, bro, in St. Louis. So you're getting them humid ass summers. And he was showing me pictures of his garden. Shout out Davey Napalm, man. That's my homie. And he's a damn good musician too. And but he was showing me pictures of the fucking Alder Point. Dude, he was like, bro, no mold, nothing. It's been getting rained on all September, all October. And it's pretty wet where we are in Humboldt, but it doesn't get wet until September, October.
Yeah.
It gets weird. We're from like May to August. It's dry as fuck, bro. It's like a nun's pussy. It's just, there's nothing.
Dry.
It's arid temperate. Yeah, you know what I mean? And so to see it worked in places like St. Louis and not get that crazy mold that you get in humid environments was super cool. So what to expect from Gotti. Honestly, I wanted a biscotti that was solid in seed form. Like that's it. And we called it biscotti. We called it Gotti. There's John Gotti, right? But really, it was the jelly from Soulfire, which was like a hella true breeding gelato strain. But it was bigger than gelato. It was purple. It had better flower structure. At least the pheno that we found from Soulfire, from the YU jelly. We just shortened it to jelly with a G.
That YU jelly
with the biscotti. Dog, dude, we found bangers, bro. He gave us seeds like shit. I think it was like 2018. 2019, whenever he did the release, that's when we got the seeds from him.
Yeah, I grew that shit way back then.
It put a lot of my shit in shame in the garden. That's where I was like, oh, Soulfire is for real, bro. This is nice weed.
Pretty good. Yeah.
But that's what the second part
of that question. Second part to that question. Oh, yeah, my bad.
Oh, also, what's the collab with Fresh Coast? Dude, that's the. I don't know, man. Like when you like, there's some people you meet. And it's like, yeah, you like their work, but when you guys really connect as like human beings and like your energy is just mesh and you're like, I see you. Like you spend 2 minutes with them and you're like, I see you. I see your energy. And that's kind of what me and then I really didn't get appreciation, like a real profound appreciation for Ross's work until we became friends, until Tori, linked us together. And I've been seeing his work online, but when you see his flower and what he grows, it's like, the dude's hella humble, you know what I mean? He always thinks his work isn't good enough, but all of his jars were shitting on my fucking jars. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, we gotta do something, bro, because how he's selecting I think is on the cutting edge. I really, really, really think with all my heart that he's set to become one of the next biggest people in the genetics world. Like when I show my partners in France. We got projects in France and Colombia and in Spain. When I show my partners their shit, they're blown away. And they've seen everything, because we work with a lot of people in Morocco, and that's how we test the efficacy of a lot of our feminized strains. Because your Moroccan farmer, on average, will grow on average they'll grow 750,000 to 1 million plants. When they test a strain before they spend, if they buy 1 million seeds, the going market rate from, of what a farmer in Morocco would pay for seeds anywhere from like 30 30 cents a seed, 60 cents a seed. It's crazy, right? So in order for them to throw down that kind of cash on that much seed, they test it out first. And usually test patches range around anywhere from like 15, 20,000 plants, on average 30 to 50,000 plants is their test patches. You're not putting them in pots, they're all in soil and they're all stuffed together, right? So it's not, but it's a lot of plants and you get a really good feeling of what the potential these genetics can do.
Yeah, it's a
And
lot
so
of
when I
fun.
show my people what Ross's flower is putting out, like, you know, a lot of his strains are 5 to 6% washers on fresh frozen. Like when I tell people that, they go, "Why the fuck aren't you working with them?" Like, dude, like that's like, why don't we have his seeds over here? Like we need shit like that. And it's like, and you got the yields to back it up because sometimes you might get a 5% washer, but you won't get a whole lot of weed, you know, per that footprint, you
Right.
know, per a 4x4 or a 5x5. So. That's kind of the thing with that cross. Oh, Black Sheep. What's up, Dylan? That's my boy. That's the dude. That's the Covelo dude.
Yeah, that's
That
what he's
knows the
saying,
Goo.
dummy.
Yeah, he knows the Goo family. Noah's dad Covelo has the original cheese cut from Germany. He hold. Yeah, Dylan from Black Sheep, man. He's got access to the shit I could only dream of having access to. And because they're really insulated. I mean, Emerald Triangle is insulated, you know, from the rest of the world. Laytonville, Garberville's insulated, but Covelo is really insulated. There's one way in that motherfucker and one way out. And it's Highway 162, unless you know the back roads. If you know the back roads, you better have a key to someone's gate, or you better be armed like you're fucking with the cartel, because someone's gonna pull out on you. If you're on that dirt road and you're not welcome back there. So Covelo is super insulated. I didn't have a lot of opportunity to work with Covelo genetics until I started working with Dylan because he lives there. He lives like right on Dos Rios, like he's in the heart of it. So shout out Dylan from Black Sheep. He's someone that has access to a lot of super exciting genetics that have been insulated from the world for a long time.
Well, hell yeah, man.
Hell yeah. Uh,
I mean, that's where
Phantom
so much,
Guns.
so much fucking good like flour came from there back when I was
Oh,
following the Grateful Dead. Like
yeah.
it was all either from Humboldt,
Covelo.
Mendo, like anything good, it was fucking, and that's why I ended up in Marin, like I told you. So,
Yeah.
if,
The Covelo's wild too, bro. Like they had a webcam at the Buckhorn Inn, or it was the Deerhorn. It was their bar because it was known for fights. Because the natives there were so gnarly. Like if you weren't from Covelo, you were like, and you had the balls to go to that fucking bar, you were getting a fight, and they had a webcam there just so you could stay up to date on all the fights that are going down every day, bro. Like Covelo was a tough place, bro. Like a lot of people, if you caught someone stealing from you, you know, ripping your farm off or ripping your shit, it's like, you know, I know people that caught people ripping their farms out and they threw them out butt naked on fucking 162. You know, they would catch these motherfuckers in Willits and Laytonville and throw them out butt naked off the 162, and they're like, Covelo boy's gonna take care of you. So it's like if you're butt naked walking
they know.
around that road going to Covelo, bro, you're gonna have a hard time, bro. You better swim. You better walk the river or something, bro. Like, cause you're fucked. So yeah, man. Shout out. What do you expect from Hippie Tear? Oh, Hippie Tears. Someone brought it up. We're actually breaking into the Hippie Tears again this year. That's one thing I'm going to take to F2 and then F3. My cousin was testing it out. He's got a farm. And a couple of my buddies were testing it out up in Honeydew. And what they found was different from what I was finding. Like when I was originally breeding that, it was just like there were smaller, tighter nubs, kind of smelled like candy, but with crazy resin. But for some reason, when we released that seed, the male we selected has been throwing huge plants for a lot of people. Huge plants and like crazy candy gas terps, not just candy terps, but a lot of candy and gas.
Candy
And so
gas, bro.
my cousin gave me some flour, but it's like Smarties. It's like that kind of candy, or Sweet Tarts, or like a Sour Heads candy. Like if it was a EQ on a soundboard, where like Skittles has a high concentration of terps that I kind of envision in like kind of the mid range and in the base and a little bit of highs. Like the candy terps that came from the Hippie Tears is more like all treble and all mids, like real sharp. Like, you know, when you remember when you sat in someone's car, they had a system back in the day and their sub broke and you're just in a
Definitely.
fucking treble machine. Yeah, if the terps could have treble, it was just sharp. It's like almost like you're almost offended. Like you don't want like and so then we was like, all right, we're gonna keep working that. into
Some
F2 and F3.
gas
Yeah,
sounds fucking delicious. That's what
get you.
people want, you know. Like, I
Yeah,
mean, the candy gas. That's another like. That's it right there. Candy gas. You know,
yeah.
sour candy gas, gas. Yeah, especially the candy gas. I feel like
I
that's
think
like
that's why
really
Runts
like.
did good because you had that balance of
Hmm.
Skittles and that kind of bassy gas-like texture from the gelato.
Agreed.
Like if it was
No.
grown right, if it was grown right,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah, people talk shit
Oh,
about
Chronic
Rust, but
Skywalker.
the
Shout
man,
out Chronic Skywalker. He asked the
man,
question. Dude, that motherfucker also had him and High Truth Organics showed me it was him, High Truth, in the indoor selection of Fam 95 from Dogfather. But when Chronic Skywalker pulled out some shit he was sifting from 808 Genetics. I don't know 808. I never met him. I just know him by his reputation. But he had this fucking OG1 Kenobi
yeah,
that Chronic Skywalker showed me. He ended up winning the Breeders'
he
Ball
was with
with that grow off.
yeah,
And
he
that
was my
shit
boy.
wasn't even his best flower, bro. If like he had entered that OG1 Kenobi,
He's
it would have fucking
yeah,
bro.
I know,
Like
bro. They
I wanted that jar so bad, and he was like, "Sorry, dog. I already promised Chris Chronic this jar." And I look at Chris Chronic, I was like, "Man, I'm gonna offer him something." Nah, he don't want to. He don't want to part with that jar because it was some of the most gas I've ever smelled, man. And just seeing their work, seeing Chronic Skywalker's work is fire. But he's asking me, "Did you ever see Emerald Sour 98 cut in flower?" No, Emerald Sour. Oh, Emerald Mountain Sour. Is that what he's talking about?
I guess. I mean,
No.
I don't know.
No, the Emerald Sour. I don't know if it's called Emerald Sour 98 cut. No, I didn't see. Chronic Skywalker, if you could please,
Yeah,
because I
put it
would
back
love to.
on.
I would love to. If you could kind of clarify. Okay, he said it was Emerald Mountain. Um, I have a very troubled history with Emerald Mountain, and so I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to be, I don't want to be disrespectful and talk about something that's in their stable, even though Mandelbrot was a mentor of mine, and a dear friend. I haven't had the best relationship with his family, unfortunately, which is a
Yeah,
big
I've seen
regret
it.
that I have.
Yeah,
Yeah. And so, like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But I like to keep things positive. At the end of the day, everyone's just trying to feed their families. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's what it's all
And so,
about, man.
so when it comes up to touchy subjects like that, if I'll say this, if Ben is working legit sour crosses from his brother's seed stock that he got from Mandelbrot after he passed, then it's fire. Like Mandelbrot was a fucking genius, and there'll never be another Mandelbrot. He was taken away from us too early, and the reason why I grow the way I do is mostly because of him. A lot of the time that we spent together, rolling around Mendo in his old BMW, and but yeah, from the pictures I've seen, I would say that it's pretty legit because Mandelbrot was known for breeding really insane sour hybrids. Like that's the reason why I started chasing sour. One, I love sour, but when I won the Emerald Cup, when I placed in the Emerald Cup, I didn't win it in 2014, but I placed in the top 5 out of 700 growers, and that was with Mandelbrot's. It was from a selection of Mandelbrot's Royal Kush 7 we called the Royal Sour, because it was like the sour dominant expression of Royal, and that further helped us put our fucking put us on the map. And so then we worked a lot of Royal Kush and worked with Mandelbrot until he died, and unfortunately, I just had a really bad falling. I never met his family when he was
Right,
alive. You know what I mean?
right.
So after he died, and I met his family, maybe I didn't make the right moves. I don't think I introduced myself right. I probably should have reached out to them after he passed away. But I just didn't know them. Like when me and Mandelbrot, it was still when shit was fucking trap. It was when it was illegal. And, it was back when the days when, you always kept street business on the street. And
Right.
so, and it was like a trap relationship with me and him and how we did things. So, just out of respect, I always just kind of kept my mouth shut about the dynamics of like how we work together. And, unfortunately, when you keep your mouth shut about some subjects, you could look, it could look bad, but at the same time, it's like I stick to the code, bro. I was told, your dirt should be between you and God, and any business, any trap business that you have with someone else needs to stay that way.
That's
Even
it.
after they pass away, and that's something that OG Mike taught me that I really value. But
Yeah,
to at least give Emerald Mountains a big up, because I don't have to like you to like your work, but I know that he's been doing decent work with his brother's shit, and doing his own crosses with some of those. So like I'll give him that. You know, he's working with amazing source code, and yeah, at least he's keeping it alive. You know, I love Mandelbrot more than the problems I have with some of his family. You know, so you know, long live Mandelbrot. He still lives on. He's still looking over it. He's probably burning with a Frenchie right now.
Let's
So
go.
we'll leave it at that. Yeah,
Rest in peace, guys,
yeah.
man.
Rest in peace.
All right, let's get to what do we got? Um, we'll go that, and there's a couple more questions, and you've been actually. I told you the hours fly by. These
They
hours
do,
fly by.
bro. I can't. I looked at the time. I was like, damn, it's already 8.
Is
It's like Tori's
it
gonna kill
insane?
me.
Like
I was like, Tori's
it's
gonna kill me. She's hungry.
yeah, like Iris, I know we called in an hour. We're gonna try to run through the rest of you guys' questions, the ones
Yeah,
that are there, and I'm gonna let
I'll
Leo
totally
go, and we're gonna
answer a few more, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
if they want, you
yeah, we're gonna
know.
try to get
Yeah,
through. Oh, you ain't
100%.
going yet, man. We got a couple more
Yeah.
questions we're gonna get through first, and then I'll try to have one of these weeks coming up. I'll try to have him back, and
Oh, dude, but
all
anything you want, bro.
right,
Yeah,
perfect.
I love this. Like you guys, like I like your lives, and you guys have like legit good conversations. I think you're one of the few seed banks that really connects with the people. And like we were just talking to Tori about this in the car. That's what I really love about guys like you and True is like you really try, especially you really connect with the crowd. And like you really try, like this whole Meet the Breeder. There's other seed banks that try to do Meet the Breeder, but you guys have like real meaningful conversations. It's not just, hey, I'm gonna do a live. I'm gonna have some douchebag breeder. It's like you have like people
No,
who come from all walks of life and all disciplines in the cannabis industry. So you're really bringing like a breadth, you know, like you're really allowing exposing the industry to like really valuable knowledge. And
I
so like
mean
a lot of seed banks aren't doing that.
they're
I think
not
that's why you
doing
got a
it.
lot of love. Yeah.
And that's why I do this every Like I don't I've been doing this every Wednesday night for about like 2 years now. And there's other people that try to do it, but like I try to bring on people like you, for instance, like Russ. Like we're gonna have in house on one of these weeks, like Romulan Genetics, Ross. And then I'll bring on all kinds of people. Like this is to the room. Like anybody that's an up and coming breeder that you got work going on, you guys are
100%.
welcome too. This isn't just about this is about everybody. Like I don't
Bro, the
have to
up and
work with
coming
you,
breeders are the future, bro. Yeah.
and I try to bring these guys on, and we like have great conversations because it's interesting to see like what they have going on compared to like what someone like you. It's just interesting, man. And it's like my pleasure to try to bring everybody together and have these meaningful conversations, because I do
Yeah.
see other people trying to do it or people that don't do it at all, and it sort of like blows my mind because if you're like you know to be able to see someone's face, like to have your gear on my site and to actually work with you and, have respect for the people that I work with, because I won't, the people that I work with, I do respect. And to be able to have 115, 150 people in here that could actually ask you a question. That's not something that, like, most C banks don't do that. So
No, that's dope. When you started, I started watching your lives. I was like, damn, I should do more lives. But I was so scared of getting deleted. I didn't want to say shit, bro. Because,
that's
you
why
know,
this account,
yeah, for a
the
while there, I had a lot of haters, bro. They were just waiting for me to you say one wrong thing that they could report.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's
You know
all
what?
it
And
takes.
that's why my posts, I
Yeah,
have some guy that does my artwork. I make sure everything is in the post. I don't write anything down. And since I started doing that
100%.
and made that main account private,
Yeah,
this account. That's why I let you know I'm on before.
that's
This
smart.
account is
I was like, this dude's
purely
smart.
for lives. No one
Yeah,
can do. There's
he's moving
nothing
on
you like.
point.
Report whatever you want because there's nothing to report. Like I'll do giveaway.
100%.
So I mean, this is like my fifth, sixth set. If I haven't lost, bro, if I hadn't lost all the accounts that I've lost, it's like, it's sort of crazy. Like I'm just getting back to 10,000 on the other account, but I've
That's
lost five
amazing.
accounts,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
No, I knock on wood. I need wood to knock on something.
bro,
But I've
I'm
been
gonna knock.
deleted twice, bro.
I
You know,
got
and
you.
like by the grace of God, I've gotten back, dude. So now we play it really safe. I met a lawyer that used to work for Instagram before they got bought by Facebook. I met him at back when San Francisco used to have weed conventions. That's when I met this fucker, and he told me the most valuable piece of information. He was like, always maintain plausible deniability, whatever you do.
That's
So
it, bro.
ask anybody who DMs me. They could DM, hey, I want packs. Hey, how much is a box of sour? or you know, they're either talking about a box of seeds or 100 pounds, and I just made I don't even because you know like when you get pulled over by a cop and he goes, "Are you drinking tonight?" and you don't even acknowledge his question, you go, "Excuse me, can I help you? Who the fuck are you? Were you drinking today, son?" It's like, who are you? I'm sorry. Like, if you just don't answer his question, like you have more of a case in court. So I ask everybody who comes in DM, I was like, what's your email address?
Right.
I'm not answering your question. I'm not acknowledging what the fuck you said. You're just some random stranger who popped in my DM. I go, what's your email address? And then when I hit you in the email, it's on, bro. But it's like, I have to, because he told me, he was like, when they delete people's accounts from Instagram, and this was 2015 information. So I'm still using this fucking program in 2015. He's like, when they delete you, they examine all your DMs, all the comments you've made, and if anything corroborates what someone has reported you for, you're out of here,
Right.
sir. Because then they have to demonstrate that to their shareholders that they're doing everything possible to maintain a legal platform and a safe platform for people. So they have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders to do their fucking homework. So we as in the cannabis community, just maintain your possible deniability. Stop talking business in the DM. But dude, like law enforcement agencies can access your fucking DMs if they subpoena fucking Facebook,
Of
and they're
course.
gladly to give them the fucking information. So it's
Of
like,
course.
why help
Right.
people out? You know what I mean? When you could just maintain plausible liability, talk to me on this number or talk, you know, don't even give me your phone number. That's incriminating too. Say, what's your email address? It's like the most benign thing you could ask them. And then when you get their email address, you give them your fucking phone number. Let's talk business. You know, but you know, that's
Yeah,
why
that's
I'm really careful
plausible
about, yeah.
deniability, bro.
That's why I
Like
love what you
that's
do. You're like,
that
all right, just
shit.
doing lives. We could talk about stuff. I don't
Yeah.
have to worry about getting deleted.
No, man. And this is, it's a good way
Yeah.
to connect like 120 people. We have so many people. Like, I'm sure when I end this, it'll show all the individual accounts. There'll probably be
100%.
1,000 fucking accounts that came through here tonight. That's a
Dope.
lot of fucking
That
individual accounts.
is.
Last week it was 12, and to be able to reach all these people, this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
It just is like you guys seeing our faces, knowing who we are, like not hiding behind a logo, actually fucking getting to know
Yeah.
us, like
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
getting to
Like we're
know us, man.
humans. We're no one special. We're just humans, just like everybody
We're
else.
just like
You know what I
everybody
mean?
else, man.
Yeah. We're just at
Yeah,
a different stage in our journey. You know what I mean? Everyone starts
that's
their
it.
journey off in a different space and a different stage, and that's why I like that's what I liked about Ross. He doesn't think he's better or worse than anybody else. He's just different, and that's something I live by. Like I'm not better or worse than anybody. I'm just different. I think what you start running into problems when you start thinking you're better than somebody, and yeah, that's when your ego is not your motherfucking amigo.
That's
So
fucking the problem.
yeah,
That like most of us, man, are cool with each other. Like we come from an older school where we
yeah,
had each
yeah.
other's backs. It's somewhat of the newer generation. No disrespect to the newer generation, but y'all need to like, you know, look up like not look up to us per se, but look to your elders. Like look to the people that came before you and like,
100%.
appreciate the path, the path that was paved for you
Yeah.
guys by us, and that's like real.
Yeah, there's
So
a lot of sacrifice. Like a lot of people, I still got homies doing time in like places like Kansas.
absolutely,
You
bro.
know what I mean?
I mean,
Driving
Russ
back.
Russ was in here earlier. He was straight up. I've done I did 4 years for like that was what Tino in here earlier, 2 years. Like I've been there.
Yeah,
A lot of us have been
100%.
there, man. And like the younger generation, I don't mean like again, no disrespect, but you guys will never know what it's like to actually have to worry like that. Like
Oh,
the
yeah.
the things that we went through to get to this point in this country as a whole when it comes to cannabis, like we've come a long fucking way. I've seen us come a
Yeah,
long
we've
fucking way.
come a long way,
You
dude.
know,
Yeah,
and just
I know exactly what you're talking about because I see people talking about like we have elements of our trade craft, right? Like how do you do A to B, right? Remember A to B was its own thing? It's like that was what I was taught in Mendo. It was like, when my OG taught me how to grow, and I was like, hey man, I'm just gonna drive these packs over yonder. And he goes, that's A to B. We don't do A to B. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, if you want to cross the streams, cross the streams. He's like, but to me, there's a mathematical formula, right? And when you start driving,
right.
right, and you start taking more risk, he was like, he was like, more risk equals more reward. He's like, that's true. I'll never deny it. He's like, but I'm fucking, he's old as shit now. He's probably in his 70s now. OG Mike's probably in his 70s, but he was like 60 at the time he was telling me. He's like, the only reason I've stayed in the game this long is because I've never crossed the streams. He was like, he's like, I have people who do A to B. Like that's its own discipline for tradecraft. And so it's like, hearing how people, use the mail system, like there's people making memes about the post office, like, bro, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. You gotta stop, bro. I was like, dog, everyone's dry. Remember when dry snitching was a thing? It was looked down upon back in the day. It's
Yeah.
like
But
who released the memo that it's cool to dry snitch right now, or it's acceptable to
bro,
dry snitch
thank
on
you.
yourself?
Yo,
It's
I've
like,
watched
bro,
this shit even on Instagram. Like,
bro,
yeah, man. Like,
like,
there was a code. You
yeah,
guys, like, and I hate to say it, but like, you guys, but
the game's to
generally,
be
like,
sold, not to be told, bro.
bro,
Straight
like,
up.
it blows my mind sometimes. You know what I mean? It just does because we just
Yeah.
come from a little bit of a different
Yeah,
generation.
so I think
We
like
just do.
there's virtues to places like I'm not trying to call out blacklists because they have their purpose, but talking in detail about the pros and cons of different postal systems is a fucking detriment, bro. Like how the fuck is like, dude, now you're making a public statement and a public case for what to use. And if those get compromised, how the fuck is this community of people going to feed their families if it continues to get compromised? And I'm probably being a fucking hypocrite just talking about it right now, but I think someone should speak up, talk, and go, hey, talking about these things
Mm-hmm.
with these open forums where you're given complete details about the tradecraft. Like I'm not talking details about the tradecraft. Everybody knows people leverage the post system, but when you start giving details on the pros and cons of which other ones, and then you see the comments of people just telling on themselves,
I
and it's like, bro, if I was running one of these organizations and I was reading that comment section, I was just like, you know what I mean? It's like there's a risk there with it being talked about online at that scale. So. That's
yeah,
my rant.
absolutely. I mean, I'm not going to mention any, I'm not even going to get into it because there's like things that I see like, that just blows my fucking mind, man. It
Yeah,
just does, and I'm not even going to
100%.
say it's just something popped in my head and, it's just, yeah, it happened like exactly on this topic and it's just crazy to me. It just is,
Yeah.
it's just not how we are, not how we were. And I don't know what happened, man. I
Oh
think y'all,
man.
I hate saying y'all, but like, we got I'll say we not we because not me but some of y'all are just soft, all right, some of y'all are just soft, man. That's all I'm gonna say, just
Bro.
soft.
Bro.
That's it.
Bro.
You know what I
Bro,
mean?
before I was Leo Aficionado, I was Leo the Crazy War Vet, bro. And if I wouldn't, you know what I mean? I went through some shit to get to where I was. It's like, am I from Mendo? Hell no. Mendo is super exclusionary. My name is Leo, bro. So motherfuckers, when I came out with I mean, I still kind of keep my hair short, but when I came to Mendo with a high end type name like Leo, motherfuckers were laughing as they was like, okay, law enforcement officer. And I was just like, get the fuck out of here, really? I was
Me
like,
too. Totally,
dog.
bro.
Like
Yeah,
it was tough, but
yeah,
I was crazy and fresh out of the army, so I was willing to do extreme shit to do whatever I had to do in Mendo. And it was a dangerous place back in the day.
yeah.
And it was like it was literally a community of, yeah, there's a community of families, but when you start getting in a place like Murder Mountain, Humble, even Branscombe back in the day, it's like a lot of people were getting robbed. There's a lot of wolves out there.
Yeah,
And it's like, and if you're not a fucking wolf, then then you were gonna get robbed, or
you're gonna
someone was
get
gonna
taken
come rip
advantage
you
of.
off. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So if you cultivated, a fucking reputation not being fucked with, then you had a higher probability of kind of surviving the scene. You know what I mean? So, I kind of miss those days. You know what I mean? But I think a lot of people complain about the cannabis industry, about how people fight, and I think that is a problem, how people fight. But I also love and respect it because the people like me and you and the old school people, like, chronic Sir Chris, he's been in the game for a long time too. Like old school guys like that, like Ross. It's like, back in the day, like you had to be fucking crazy to be doing this, right? Like you were risking felonies. You know what I'm saying?
oh,
And
definitely. Yeah, man, there's
and
still
like
places, you
that's what I was
know.
talking about with the fighting, with people fighting with each other. Is the beautiful thing about it, even though it's kind of a stain on the industry, is we all come from this. Everyone from that old school background comes from a place of I don't give a fuck about going to jail,
Oh, definitely.
right? They're willing to risk doing some shit to go to jail, right? So it's like if you're gonna come at us wrong, It's like we have no problem not being a law-abiding citizen. And that's where a lot of that like feistiness comes from in the community because like, you know, if you're willing to commit a bunch of felonies and to sacrifice the safety and well-being of your family to commit multiple felonies so you could feed them, you know what I mean? Then you're willing to, you know, to back that shit up or to bow
Mhm.
up on somebody to preserve one, your reputation and two, what you believe in. So I think there
Absolutely.
is some beauty in some of the really, you know, dysfunction and some of the hardcore dysfunction we see in cannabis, but I try to look at the positives of it because it's a byproduct of our culture and what we've had to go through in the past. So yeah,
100%, man.
100%, man.
100%. Couldn't
Yeah.
agree more.
Well, I gotta get a little girl fed and who's probably gonna bite my head off. I
Good
gotta
idea,
make
because
sure
you
we
know
go to
what?
dinner.
We probably could have went another four. You know what I mean? I was about, yeah, it was
100%.
either one of the two of us because
I could keep going on with you, bro. Like we gotta, you know, plan
no,
another one out because this is
we
good shit.
definitely have to plan
Yeah,
another
yeah.
one. And I got your, I appreciate you for coming on, brother.
No,
Go,
thank you,
go,
man.
go. Thanksgiving's tomorrow. Happy Thanksgiving, man. Enjoy it.
Much
You
love.
know, with the family. Tell Tori I said I love her, man.
Will do.
Um, and
Dude,
I will give
thank
you a
you.
call.
Yeah,
I'll
I
give you a
appreciate you doing
call
this for the people.
like Thursday for after Thanksgiving. I'll give you a call
Whatever you need, bro.
and we'll do this
All right,
again. All right, brother.
brother, man.
Much
Good seeing
love.
you.
Love you,
Thanks
bro.
everybody for
Love
tuning
you,
in.
bro.
So, all right,
You
man.
know,
Much love you
for
too,
real.
brother.
All
All
right,
right,
brother.
man. Mad love,
All right.
dog. Peace.
All right. So for everybody that's still in here, um, I know I have your guys' names. We'll do one giveaway. All right. There's 100 people in here, 104 people in here. First of all, baby, I love you. I sent you the 1111. I hope you saw the 1111. I sent you in a message as well, just so you know. I didn't forget. I didn't miss it. I never fucking do. 100 people. Let's give out a pack to the room. And for everybody that's going to leave before I give out the pack, thank you. Thank you for hanging out for the last 3 hours. It was a good night. We do this every Wednesday night. If you guys don't know me yet, give us a follow. Every Wednesday night. Next Wednesday, I'm going to try to talk to Brandon from in-house, see if I can get him to come on. We just got to set the time up. So we'll definitely have Brandon on coming up soon. And whoever else the guests are, it's always going to be educational, informational, and you guys like get a chance to really meet some of your favorite breeders, get to talk to them, and and I try to give back as well. So, all right. That being said, and anybody, any questions we didn't get to for any of you guys, just understand, um, time flies when we're up here. We want to get to everybody's questions. It's not always easy, but I promise you, we will definitely have Leo come back, and all the questions that you guys still want answered, we'll get to. Maybe we do it next week. Maybe it's the week after, but we'll definitely have him come back. All right, 90 people. Let's do this. Yeah, I was. Well, I had everybody. No, 401. The only reason I'm going to do that is because I did have everybody repost it. Green Soul. Yeah, I will most likely. I'm not going to post it on Instagram because I'm just not going to. But if you guys follow my YouTube page, I will get this on the YouTube channel. So it's I think it's just Dark Star Genetics Seed Bank on YouTube, and I'll get it up there. I'll definitely get it up there. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to all you guys. I'm gonna flip this camera and pull up this. It's not a wheel. Basically, all it is it's an app that pulls your guys' names from the people that reposted and did the three. Like the thing. Um, I might need her help. Babe, you still in here? You're in here, right? Wait, I think it's on the 4 page. Let me get this. Yeah, hold on. I'll get it up right now. Hold on. Switch accounts. Yeah, hope you guys all had a good night, man, for sure. I love doing Wednesday nights. I mean, like Leo said, there's nobody else that really does it, And me as a seed bank, I want you guys to be able to like meet the breeder. That's why I called it Meet the Breeder. I want you guys to be able to ask questions. I want you guys to be able to interact with the breeders. I can't always get to all your questions, and that's just, it's just the way it is sometimes. I want to get to all your guys' questions, so, we will do our best to have them come back. Well, we'll definitely have them come back. It's just a matter of when. Um, all right. So I'm going to show you guys exactly how I'm going to do this. This is how Mrs. Darkstar showed me how this works. It looks like there's 94 people. So I'm not even gonna lie. Everybody that reposted, you guys rock. But what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna pull all your guys' names and we do copy link. I'm just gonna show you how we do it because it's gonna be quick. Whoever wins, you're gonna hit me up tomorrow. And then let me pull up the DM. Where's she at? She's right there. Pull this up. So just so you guys know, this is, you're not going to see your names on there, but just know this is how it works. So we type in what we just pasted, we scan it, and this is going to be everybody that's on. No, you're good, 401. So 94 people, as you guys saw, everybody's name's in there. This is how I'm going to do it tonight because I'm just not doing it any other way. We're going to have one winner, one winner. Y'all ready? Let's fucking go. Find winner. If they're not here, um, Killer B Grows. Congrats, bro. There you go. Killer B Grows. Let me know you're here. Yeah, right? That's pretty cool, right? 401? I think that's just pretty cool, man. She showed me tonight. It is what it is. You guys don't get to see the wheel, but you know what? Everybody's name that fucking commented is on there. And I think, everybody's been hanging out. It's all good. Like, I'm totally happy to do it that way tonight. So, Killer B, are you here? Killer B Grows. Killer B Grows. Because I don't think I can respin it back is the problem. So we might just call him the winner. And even if he's not here, I think I'm gonna let him win, man, because I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've been sitting here since 8 o'clock and I'm ready to just fucking get this night over with and say goodnight to y'all and talk to my girl for a couple minutes and say goodnight to her. So Killer B, are you here? Killer B. Killer B, Killer B, Killer B. See, I don't know if it's gonna let me spin it back, guys. Half of me wants to spin it back so somebody that's in here wins it. But I might have to pay for it to spin it back. So we're gonna say it's Killer B. That's who won. It is what it is. How about that? Killer B won, man. I'll DM him or one of you guys that's friends with Killer B. Tell him to DM me, and I got him covered. All right. I just think it's the best way to do it. You know what I mean? We're gonna let him get it tonight. I'm just exhausted, guys. Like, y'all been seeing me sit in this damn chair since 8 o'clock. It's almost 8:30. So yo, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. Much love. I appreciate everybody for hanging out. We'll see you guys Saturday. No, Friday night. Black Friday blowout. Live. Nope, Friday night. Oh, Heirloom. Fuck, yeah, yeah. I got you on next week, bro. Um, Friday night, guys, on this page, I'm going to do giveaways, Black Friday sales, the whole nine. Friday night, 8 o'clock. I'll put a post up. I'm out of here, y'all. I am out of here. Have a good night. Can I do the balloons? Oh, there's the fucking balloons. Let's go. All right. Love y'all.